Hello, 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 beautiful people out there in this world. What's up, everybody? This is episode number 15 of Stats Over Politics. As always, I am your host, Shaun Holko, alongside my guys, Gary Singh, Jaevon Toddy. Kevin Dent will be making his arrival soon enough. He said that he got stuck at work, so we will see him soon. Because, boys, we have a lot to talk about today, mainly in regard to yesterday's Super Bowl, as the Chiefs defeat the Eagles 38-35 in what I thought was an awesome game. You can love the ending, you can hate the ending. To me, I thought it was a great game in its entirety. And so we're going to get to that, as well as we're going to get to some other NFL news today. We're going to get to the coaching news around the NFL, some new head coaches, new assistant coaches, and then we're also going to get to the NFL awards that happened this past Thursday. I think it was Thursday. And then we're going to get to some NBA. As we talked about, LeBron on the cusp of history last week. Well, he officially made that history on Tuesday. And we're also going to get to the Kings in their last week as they went 2-1 against the Rockets and then 2 games against the Mavericks at home. And also, Gary, I want to give a quick shout out to my guy, Jaevon. I wish Kevin was here for me to give him a shout out as well for our first ever bonus episode, which dropped this past Friday. Jaevon, you just want to tell the people a little bit about that?
Yeah, if you guys want to go and look at listen to all the new NBA trade deadline news, just go check out our YouTube and our Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you get your podcasts. So that was for episode 14. So if you guys haven't listened to the trade deadline episode, go ahead and listen to that too.
Yeah, good job with you guys doing that too. They killed it. So go make sure you go tune into that.
Without a doubt, and I appreciate both of you guys for doing that, giving us that good when it was nice and fresh. It was like for me and Gary in the journalism industry, it's like hot off the presses with that content. And what's up to our boy James? I see you in the YouTube comments. I'm not going to repost your comment, but I see you in the YouTube comments. What's up with our guy James? Anyways, guys, let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into it, and let's start with the NBA because we want to wait for Kevin to get to the NFL. We want to let him talk about his team in the Super Bowl. So let's start with the NBA, and let's get to LeBron. As LeBron officially made history last Tuesday night, he came into the game needing 36 points to pass Kareem. He got 38, and he hasn't played since. But nevertheless, the game itself was pretty good. Even for me as a Kings fan, I enjoyed the part that the Lakers actually lost the game that LeBron made history. And so anyways, Gary, I'm going to kick things off with you. You are a big LeBron fan. So did you think that this cemented him as the greatest of all time, or does he still have something else to do?
We can get into that debate again another day because that's going to be a long-winded debate. But congratulations on LeBron on making history, being the number one greatest all-time scorer in NBA history. And to be honest with you, it was already a foregone conclusion. I think I said OKC was he's going to get in the OKC game. It was pretty much a done deal. And you kind of can see it from the last 3-4 years that it's going to be obtainable if LeBron keeps up the pace. And there hasn't been any droppage in terms of his scoring load. Actually, he's had his greatest season scoring wise last year and coming into this year, especially after his birthday. So shout out to LeBron James. I don't know. I know we all were talking about what was he going to do for, was he going to hit I don't know. No one wanted to hit the free throw. Did he want to hit a step back? Was he going to do the hook shot or something like that? I like the way he did it because actually last night I was watching with my brother and my friend and LeBron's greatest moments. And he actually has a lot of good fadeaway clutch moments. I don't think everyone kind of thinks, it's Kobe and Mike's move majority of the time when they think about the fadeaway. But LeBron has really incorporated into his game and proven that, he could do it from any which way. So LeBron James, number one scorer all-time history. I think the most shocking thing is that he's number one, but everyone in their moms would say that he wouldn't, no one ever say he's a number one. That's the number thing he does best. In terms of everyone would say that he makes teammates better by passing the ball, creating, getting rebounds, being a franchise leader off and off the court. So him just getting the feet, which was I don't feel like no one ever thought was going to be, obviously everyone talks about it, never going to be broken again, and him actually getting there with consistency, I think that makes LeBron James obviously the best of our generation and top 2 ever of all time.
Vaughn, how about you?
Well, going into the game, everybody knew that he needed 36 points. I wasn't too sure if he was going to break. Everybody was kind of like, is he going to break it against OKC? Is he going to break it against the Bucks? And, OKC, people would expect. They were favorites in that game. I lost money, by the way. They were favorites in that game going into it. LeBron needed 36. Everybody kind of knew. And him just, entering the building. He had a whole all-black suit on. And We're like, is LeBron really gonna break the record tonight? And then the way when he pulled up, had the shades on, all black suit, yeah, he's gonna break it tonight. So, and then you see him all mic'd up, him and his kids talking about, yep, I'm gonna go get it tonight. So, Kareem's there, and just a whole bunch of people are there. So you're like, is it scripted that LeBron's gonna break the record tonight? Like it's kind of fate, right? So he kind of goes in, and the Lakers aren't really playing well in this game. It's kind of LeBron's doing everything, kind of in the season if you look at it that way. LeBron's kind of just making everything kind of happen on the offensive side of the ball, and he ends up going for 38 points. He scored 36 points in the first three quarters, and only scored 2 in the final quarter. But then for them to like kind of stop in the middle of the game, 10 seconds left in the third. I get it. He broke the record. It was great, right? But they couldn't wait until like the third quarter ended, and then they did everything after that.
No, that was already pre-planned, Vaughn. They do that. The last year they did that for Curry too in Madison Square Garden. Shut the whole thing down. I actually like how they do that. Like maybe it was a little bit long-winded, but like I don't know. You might as well celebrate the great moment. It's only gonna happen one time. I know everyone's gonna remember now where you were. I know you remember where you were now. Like when the whole game stopped at the end of the third.
Man, I just thought it was kind of weird when they stopped the game. Like just wait until at least the quarter's over or a timeout or something like that happens. But yeah, LeBron, becomes all-time leading scorer. We kind of knew it was inevitable. Shannon Sharp, I guess, like 3 years ago, or was it 4 years ago? 5 years ago, I think. He like predicted it. He was like, by the time he's 38, he's gonna break the all-time scoring record. It was pretty insane. So, congrats to Bron. He's the highest. He was already the all-time leading scorer in postseason history, and now just regular season all around, he is the king. So, congrats to LeBron James.
Ladies and gentlemen, he has arrived. Our guy
goodness.
Kevin Dent is here. I'm sorry if Kevin, you weren't ready to be added to the stream. I saw you pop in. And anyways, we can hear you. We can hear you now. Yes, we can. So anyways, our guy Kevin has joined. And so Kevin, we were just getting into our first topic of LeBron officially making history as the NBA's all-time leading scorer and surpassing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And so Jaevon, the question that I wanted to ask you after what we were all just talking about is, would you have been watching that Tuesday night game between the 12th and 13th seeds in the West if it weren't for the history that was going to happen that night? That's why I agree with Gary, and I would agree with the argument that like it is NBA history that he just broke something that was standing for almost 39 years. You got to stop the game, get your photo up, all those good things.
I would say yes, because I am a gambler, so I probably would have been watching that game anyway. So there's a lot of games that losing teams that you would hate to bet, that you'd hate to watch, but you got to bet on because the odds are good. So yeah, Shai went insane that game. He had 30. Giddey had a great game in that game. So they kind of ruined LeBron's great night, but it was just a historic moment. Obviously, I thought we were gonna see Draymond Green there because he was like, if LeBron James got a chance, I'm going to the game. If we got a game tonight, I'm going to the game. So, just seeing all the ticket prices just going for like $90,000 and up for LeBron to break the record. There's like a picture how they did when they compared the Michael Jordan shot in the playoffs, I think against Utah Jazz, and LeBron's shot when he broke the record, how it's like everyone's on their phone recording, like, oh my God, I gotta get this on camera. So yeah, you can see everyone's on their phone.
Yeah, it's the Utah shot when he holds the pose.
Yeah, not actually living in the moment. I'm like, somebody's gonna get the shot right. So you'd like to be in the moment there, but it's just an all-time moment. So
yeah, the one person who everyone could clearly see in that photo that was not on their phone and who was truly witnessing greatness was Phil Knight, the man at Nike, obviously the founder of Nike. Phil Knight, the guy who signed LeBron when he was 16, 17 years old,
yeah,
to $1 million contract. Now LeBron's on $1 billion contract, and Phil Knight was telling him after the game, like, I wouldn't have missed this for the world. And so it was a really cool moment. And I was really.
Did you guys see the commercial? The commercial that they did, like the little Nike commercial after. That was pretty tight.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It's cool how Nike is always very strategic with that and how they're always really on point with it. I just want to check in with our guy Kevin. Kevin, because this is a LeBron topic. Can you hear us? Or are we locked in? Yep, we got you.
Perfect. We're all good.
So I didn't want to move on from this topic without getting your thoughts on the finality of LeBron officially becoming the NBA's all-time leading scorer, because we did preview it last week, but now it's officially official, and you're one of the biggest LeBron fans that I know. So what were your thoughts on it, Kevin?
Oh, man, history in the making, man. I remember seeing him come off that screen at Arco Arena and hitting that mid-range jump shot. So it was a long time coming. I think this finally puts it into the GOAT debate. So I'm just happy for him, man. It was a long time coming. He did it in, I think, about a couple hundred less games than Kareem. A lot of people have been debated as, Kareem only shot 1 3-pointer. And, it's not LeBron's fault Kareem only shot 1. The line was there. He could have shot it, but he was shooting the skyhook. So I think it's just great for the Lakers. It was definitely the highest point of the season. I can definitely feel like this was kind of what the season was made out to be. It wasn't for a deep playoff run. It wasn't for a championship. It was to have LeBron do it, and he sat out those games to do it at home. I knew he was going to do it as soon as I saw him come in with the outfit, the all black. I saw all his homies there. The sideline had
everyone in the building.
Everyone you could think of, So Milwaukee kind of got a pass, and he ain't played since. So he left it all on the line out there. So I'm happy I was able to witness it. And it was the show after was a little long, but it is what it is. The only thing that I kind of didn't like from it was AD's perspective, just sitting down pouting because they're losing the game. This is history you're making. You guys weren't going to beat the Thunder anyways, so you might as well sit down and get ready to watch the show.
Well, there's two things that I want to follow up on there, Kevin, that you said. Is the first thing is in regard to how you said that you think that this is what finalized the GOAT debate, because that's the question that I posed to Gary when we first began this topic is, does this lock it in? Gary said that he'll visit this discussion another day because he knows how much time.
It's a whole nother podcast.
It is a whole nother podcast. And Gary, playing the devil's advocate for you, Kevin, the other point that you mentioned that I wanted to get to is, yes, LeBron did get to 38,000 plus points in less games than Kareem, but LeBron did it at like 14,000. Michael Jordan, yes, he is behind him now, but Michael Jordan did it in like 10,000. And that was a crazy stat that I saw during this whole chase for it. So, another day, Gary, another day, just like you said. So
I can make it real quick.
Oh, go ahead, Kevin. Go ahead.
So, the GOAT stands for greatest of all time, right? It's not for whoever won the most, because we don't say it's Bill. It's for the greatest career of all time. Mm-hmm. And it's hard for you to say LeBron hasn't had the greatest career of all time. Yeah, he hasn't won the most. He's been there 10 times, and he only won 4. But the greatest career over a longevity standpoint, from coming in at day 1 and in year 21 still doing it. He has a career average of 27 points. I don't know how many 18-year-olds we can throw into the NBA back then and put up 27.
If I want to play devil's advocate for all the OGs out there, I know probably banging and slapping the TV right now, saying the youngins Uncle Manny's going to get mad. I know, and I'm when he goes usually for LeBron. No, I usually go for LeBron. He goes for MJ, but I'm gonna help him out on this time. I'm only gonna say this. Obviously, this is how I put the perspective real quick. If you want to dance in this pond real quick, I'm gonna say that LeBron James is the greatest player ever in terms of, if you want to pick a player, start a franchise, or you just strip the names from the back of the jersey. I think I talked about this before on the pod. You just look at him. He's bigger, stronger. He can impact the game in many more ways than Michael Jordan could have. It's a slight difference, but again, this guy Kareem can also be in the discussion as well, the greatest players of all time. But in terms of, obviously, like Kevin said, this is what me and Kevin disagree with. Greatest career, it actually sounds like LeBron should, but in terms of the aura and how quick he did in the highest peak, it might be MJ, just because obviously in the 6-0 and how much less time did it, but what he accomplished in that less time. So that's the only thing I would maybe differentiate between the two. I think we're picking hairs here, to be honest with you. I think there's GOATs in every era, to be honest with you, if you can look at it, because some players now couldn't play back then, players now couldn't play back then. So in terms of that, I don't know. But real quick, before we switch anywhere else, the funniest thing is, I was going to tell Vaughn was talking about this too, bro, they lost the game. And that's like puts the whole perspective of the season, like Kevin said, like he did this great feat, but the whole time they were losing the game basically. And it's like, please don't taint this moment for LeBron. So I'm like how LeBron really didn't taint it for himself, focused on the record himself and achieving the great moment, even though when he could have easily been like, we lost the game, y'all, keep it pushing. But realistically, hey, it shows a couple days later. Look what they did to the whole team. That was the back-breaking spot right there. Westbrook gets traded. And, I know you guys talked about it in the last podcast, but man, that switched up the whole dynamic. And Kev, this year, you over giving up on the season? I think we might talk about it later, but they might have sparked something with this little revamp they did with the trade. So it might not be finals bound because obviously what the Suns did with Kevin Durant and things of that nature, but yeah, get LeBron in the playoffs. Let him get to the dance. Come on now. We know we can get it shaken.
And so before we move on to our next NBA topic, which is the Kings in general, with Daaron Fox being named an all-star and also the Kings going 2-1 in the last week, I just want to get to a couple of these YouTube comments because Sway says, Kevin, you look like you've been crying all night.
So let me give you some inside feed. This is my barber. This is one of my good friends, my barber. We just talked about this yesterday when he cut my hair or Saturday.
Yeah, and so then Sway said, Kevin, you good, bro? And then he said, I was going to send a wellness check over to you, big dog. So what's your response to Sway?
Hey, man, Ravens been at home for a minute now, haven't they? He's a Ravens fan.
Well, that's a complicated situation with Lamar. Sway, I hope that you guys keep him.
The fake Eagles, Kevin?
The Ravens? The fake Eagles? I mean,
Eagles.
We can call them that if you want.
All right. There you go. All right, guys. So the biggest news coming out of Kingsland in the last week is that Daaron Fox is an all-star as there were 3 injured players. And so Daaron, Anthony Edwards, and also was it Pascal Siakam got the nod for those 3 spots for injured players. Injured players are Steph, Zion, and KD. Right, Kevin Durant, right, is the third one?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. And so, anyways, Daaron Fox is officially an all-star. The Kings have 2 all-stars for the first time since 2004. Man, like we were all, that was 19 years ago, so we were all like 5-6 years old. That's crazy to even think about. And so, Kevin, I want to toss it to you first. What are your thoughts on Daaron Fox rightfully being named an all-star, regardless of when it happened? He was rightfully named an all-star for this season.
Yeah, man. This is honestly something I've been telling all my friends, man, crossing off my bucket list as a Kings fan, to like Shaun mentioned, we were all so young going through it. So yeah, we were alive, but we really weren't as into it as we are now. So for me to be alive and to be able to say, I was a Kings fan and we had two all-stars. We're having a winning season. Kind of just another cherry on the top to what's been going on. I think he should have gotten there off right. But I definitely don't think because it was an injury he's going to be slighted anyway because the whole league, he kind of got that respect. He's seen a lot of dark days in Sacramento. So for him to come up and have the birth of his son and kind of all have this in the 1 year, I'm hoping, this is kind of just going to be able to catapult us into the playoffs and go from there. But I'm definitely happy Daaron Fox is an all-star. He deserves it.
Vaughn, you've been following Daaron Fox since early in his college days when you were watching him and the monster Malik Monk at Kentucky. And so what are your thoughts on Daaron getting his first all-star nod?
I mean, I've been watching Daaron since he was like a sophomore in high school, just killing all these AAU tournaments. Him being from Houston, dropping countless 50 balls in high school. I thought it was just, kind of a match made in heaven when the Kings kind of drafted him. In 2016, I believe that was. And, kind of just him being named an all-star and having the birth of his son kind of like right after everything happened, it's kind of like a match made in heaven. And you kind of see his wife courtside with baby Rain now at the games, especially on Saturday night when they played against the Mavericks, when he had dropped 36 against Luka and the Kyrie Mavs, which was pretty awesome. So I feel like that game kind of like solidified. This is the reason why he's an all-star. Kind of like when you play 21 and the guy hits a 2-pointer, but you got to prove it at the free throw line. So that was kind of like his prove it moment, I think. And definitely he should have been named, when the reserves were announced. And, for him to kind of get the nod now, it's kind of just, the Kings. We've talked about this. I remember Gary just like early in the podcast saying, the Kings, for them to be a solid playoff team, they're probably going to need to have 2 all-stars. And those 2 all-stars are Domantas Sabonis and Daaron Fox. And he also said that they might get Coach of the Year. This is kind of Coach of the Year, something that you might want to think about too. So the Kings might sweep maybe the NBA awards.
Kevin called.
We still got to preach that when it gets closer. Hold on now.
But this is something that we've kind of already talked about. For this team to be well, they're probably going to perform at an all-star caliber level, and that's kind of what we've seen throughout the season.
Yeah, so Gary,
Yeah,
you're locked in. You're locked in with the Kings. I'm sorry, and so I just wanted to get your thoughts on it as well.
No, obviously, I think Kevin and Vaughn, they hit it on the nail right there. Daaron Fox, double congratulations for the baby and the All-Star nod. Like you guys all said, it was a pretty done deal. I was hoping, like I said last pod, playing the devil's advocate, playing the DA like I like doing, that hopefully he didn't get, backdoor or screwed by, some politics and maybe getting CJ McCollum in there or something like that. But I'm glad Adam Silver obviously made the right choice. And, like, the best thing about it was, obviously, like, the Kings know they've been to everyone, the coach staff, everyone in the leagues has been coming to the games and been saying, if you watch all the coaches' post-game interviews, that we have 2 All-Stars. So I think it was never a doubt that Daaron Fox has been playing the All-Star level this year. But I think what I want to touch on next really was like what Vaughn said. Like, this game versus the Mavericks last game yesterday was the day before, Saturday night, was the cherry on top with the fourth quarter and overtime, just getting buckets, closing it down, and coming primetime Fox fourth quarter time like he does, get into the pick and roll action, pull him to the midi, and no one can stop him. So this him putting the icing on that cake, like Yvonne said, and, to establish himself. This is why he got chosen as an All-Star, maybe why he should have been chosen as an All-Star at first when they first announced all these All-Star picks. But congrats to him just for getting in. And, yeah, we got some representation right here down in Utah coming down here. And, yeah, we got 2. We actually got 3 people. Hopefully we get 4. I don't know if Kevin is going to be in the 3-point contest just yet. But I know we obviously got Keegan Murray in the rookie game, and we got 2 All-Stars. So we got some sack representation. Let's get it.
Man, I will be so upset if Kevin Huerter is not in that 3-point shootout, because it's already been announced by Shams. He broke the news on the Pat McAfee show that the Pacers are going to have 2 All-Stars, 2 former Sacramento Kings, and Tyrese Halliburton and Buddy Hield. Okay, Buddy Hield, deserving former 3-point champ. Tyrese, yeah, he's an All-Star. Let him in. But then you look at Portland, and then in Portland, they got, I think it's Dame is going to be in it, and Anthony Simons. And so Anthony Simons, I'm a little questionable on that.
It's basically the Blazers versus the Pacers. Like, what are we doing here now?
I mean, so far, of the 4 guys, I think there's 8 total in the shootout. And so at least we know half of it is going to be from 2 teams, I guess. But I hope Huerter gets in there. And the other guy that you were alluding to there, Gary, was Keegan Murray. And Keegan motherfucking Murray has had an amazing week, as he had his career high in the past week as well. And so in the last week, since we last talked to you all on Monday night after the Kings got a 20-point win in Houston against the Rockets, the Kings eked out a 2-point win on Wednesday night against the Rockets, 130-128. Daaron Fox got fouled late in that game. He made all 3 free throws, which, guys, like, when we think back to Daaron Fox a couple years ago, like, him stepping on the free throw line was not always guaranteed. We saw him hit clutch free throws in that game against Houston, and then we saw the same thing in that game against Dallas on Saturday. So in between those 2 wins of the Kings, 133-128 win in overtime on Saturday, the Kings did lose to Kyrie and the Mavericks as Luka was out, and the Kings lost 122-114. So, Kevin, I want to get your thoughts on the Kings last week, as we saw the debut of Kyrie and Luka together, and the Kings still beat them.
Before we get into this, man, I remember last time we talked, Toddy said he had tickets, and I don't think he went. So I just wanted to call cap on that.
All right.
He was like, I think it's a Mavs game, and we didn't see no pictures, no nothing. So I don't think
have the Blazers. He might have the Blazers then, because he said I think he said he wasn't sure which one he had, but he was saying he might have made.
He said it's got to be. You were like, it's got to be a Mavs game if it's only 3 games, so you have a good chance. So it has to be the Blazer game, but. I'm going back on this weekend with the Mavs, man. The first game was rough to watch. It was rough. Defensively, I feel like we were all out of sorts. And it's crazy because we played better when they had Luka on the court. So I feel like, game 1 was just Kyrie, and he kind of got all of our focus. Christian Wood got off that first game. I think he might have scored 12 in a row. Yeah, he was in there cooking. So I feel like defensively we were all out of sorts from the jump. So we were behind the 8 ball, but going, playing. It's a good thing about the NBA. You're playing the same team back to back. We just showed our resilience, man. That we're going to come in and you can beat us once, but you're not going to beat us again. It reminds me of when we had the Nuggets maybe a month ago. We had them back to back at home. We got killed the first game, came out the second game and won. Yeah, Sabonis did play that first game, but just showing the resilience that this team has, back to back games. It's hard in the NBA, and especially to do it without Malik Monk and the Terrence Davis party every now and then shows up, and coming in having 22 and 6 and 3, kind of puts his foot in the ring for more playing time. And, Davion hasn't been playing too well. So, that conversation could be started. But I'm really happy we kept Terrence Davis, and, we stayed put. We definitely have a rhythm with our team. So I'm just happy that we came out 2-1, man.
So Gary, how about you?
Yeah, I was just saying in terms of what I liked from this weekend, this little stretch they had, mainly was obviously we're gonna have lulls like we had the first Dallas game. In terms of really just that was a first time Kyrie, I think second time Kyrie. This was a new look. You could tell that Kyrie had, like you said, a lot of attention, but at the same time he's making so many great plays and really showing why they got Kyrie Irving. Like you can see, that's so cool to see Kyrie too. Like his game has developed so much as a playmaker. And he talked about it too, like, don't just give me the ball and get out of my way. Like everyone kind of thinks, I think he probably did that a lot in the Nets. And I think he want to come here and not put that persona and, show that he's really good at playmaking. He could be a point guard. He could be off Luka, playing with Luka. However you guys need him, I think Kyrie could do a great job. So them just getting distracted by that, and the Kings really obviously playing no defense in that first half. Maybe it was actually coming off a long road trip, things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? It was really tough to get started. Shots weren't falling in the first half, especially, coming back home. So after that, the second half, they really played great. They made it a close one. Obviously, they couldn't put the nail in the coffin. They couldn't get over that hump, that first one. But I like how they responded. Like Kevin said, like we've had these little mini series back-to-back, which I kind of like, knock them out in 2 strikes here. You know what I'm saying? Have a little playoff series. Obviously, it's not the playoffs in terms of how much prep period and how much they're doing. But it's a little a feeling of, all right, after you lose the first game, can you bounce back? And the Kings coming out, and you've proven the second game they bounced back defensively. And people are showing up like Kevin said, with Monk being out, other players are stepping up like TD. And I think the Kings, they're on track. And like I watched Coach talk about it, Coach Mike Brown talk about it today. They're still missing consistency. I think that's like the number one thing they're going to be coming out of this All-Star break, is that they're going to have to start playing consistently and keep trending upwards, where I feel like the last couple games we've been trending upwards, but we have a little plateau still. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like to get it all tightened up, because like you just said, we did not make any moves at the trade deadline, and obviously I was actually happy with it but at first, but obviously, as we know, I have the avalanche of things that happened in the West that maybe we needed to make a couple tweaks here and there, especially defensively. But they stand at pack. They got the camaraderie more than other teams do right now. So hopefully they can just tighten up on defense and just get on a string before playoff time. And offensively, we give anyone their match. And third, last of all, I've been hearing it every which way from every which teams that are coming in. We got the top 2 home court in the league right now. We're playing random games on a Saturday, and it's pumping and jumping. I don't know if everyone can hear from the TV. And someone literally asked me, I think one of the coaches on the sideline just asking real quick, like, oh, do you guys pump noise into the arena? Like, no, we're not pumping no noise into the arena. It's just getting that loud and getting that big. So it's cool that you can see that right now with the Kings.
Yeah, that's a great point. And also just adding on to the point that you made about how it was all about, after that loss on Friday night, it was all about how do the Kings respond in the second night of a back-to-back. And the Kings have won on the second night of their back-to-back before this season. However, I believe that was the first win that they got when their opponent was on the second night of a back-to-back, because that's something that's been weird with this team this year, that when they play a team that's on the second night of a back-to-back on their end, the Kings seem to play to their competition almost. And so, Jaevon, when you stepped away, Kevin said that he was calling cap on the fact that you went to one of these Mavericks games this weekend. Did you go? I mean, picks or it didn't happen?
Oh no, the game that I'm supposed to go to is the Portland game. That's what I ended up finding out.
Aww.
Yeah, I would have been crazy if I was at that at this past Mavs game. Didn't it go to overtime?
OT.
It did go to OT. So
Saturday.
I think the first overtime game of at home, I think, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so this is probably just to kind of skip over that Houston win. That was kind of a debacle on Houston and how they kind of just fumbled the bag at the end of the game, and the Kings were, Johnny on the spot there. With this little mini Mavs series, Kyrie kind of just takes the Kings by surprise and just like, oh shit, it's Kyrie Irving, no Luka. They kind of like, I kind of think they kind of went into that game sleepwalking a little bit. It was like, all right, it's just Kyrie. There's no Luka. We don't really have to worry about it. And Kyrie kind of just, plays a very good game, and they end up beating the Kings without Luka. Luka comes back on Saturday, and obviously Kyrie and Luka don't have any experience playing with each other. So they're kind of just trying to figure it out. and the Kings, and it was kind of the Daaron Fox show, to be honest. Fourth quarter and overtime, he scored 26 points. So going into the fourth quarter, he only had 10 points. So he kind of just took over. I think he leads the league in clutch points. We've said this on numerous occasions throughout these podcasts. Daaron Fox is, by the numbers, the most clutch player in the league right now. So you kind of just got to look at it. This is probably going to be a playoff matchup for the Kings. And with Gary, when he said that just the way and the crowd and how crazy Kings fans are, people kind of forget just because of the drought. Kings fans are pretty crazy. Those LA,
it's all we got is the Kings, man.
The cowbells,
ring.
just all of those, Arco memories. The Kings fans can get wild, so it's going to be a tough place to play. Obviously, the Kings don't really have anybody with playoff experience. At least their stars don't.
HB.
HB's a star.
He's a starter.
Okay.
Oh, the stat stopper. Come on, Toddy.
I think Sabonis has had a little bit of playoff experience.
Our coach,
I remember Murder went to an ECF. I'm just saying, Toddy.
Yeah, Vaughn. I mean, you never let me forget about that Eastern Conference Finals trip by Trae Young. So got to give it to Jaevon.
Yeah. So hopefully they'll have home court advantage because they're gonna use that to their advantage for sure. But this game kind of it was playoff atmosphere. I would say that for sure. Just by the way that how everything was transpiring, and Kyrie's hitting clutch threes down the stretch, De'Aaron's getting buckets and ones down the stretch of games. So if they play like this throughout, I wouldn't be surprised if they won a playoff series the way that they were playing on Saturday night.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Before we move on, Shaun, real quick, I was click on a touch point what Vaughn said real quick. I hope we played in the playoffs. It'll be perfect for us. I mean, even though we're going versus Kyrie and Luka, and they got some lot of good role players who can shoot very well, as we can see. They were sniping at one point, especially Reggie Bullock and things of that nature. Dwight Powell just being a big body in the paint everywhere. I was just gonna say, hopefully making the playoffs because both teams don't play that much defense. It'll just be a shootout, and we got snipers too. So I feel like that we have 4 All-Stars in that game. That'll be a really good way to start off Sacramento's first time back in the playoffs. I think that's a really good series. So hopefully, that can happen.
Yeah, hopefully it can happen. After Jaevon was finishing his response, Kevin had his fingers crossed, and I want to emphasize that as we're all just hoping. It's nice that now we can almost transition from will the Kings make the playoffs, not the play-in. Now it's will the Kings have home court? And you got to give credit to Kevin and Gary if the Kings finish as a top 6 seed. If we shall see, still got plenty of season to go.
And everyone's waiting for us to fall right now. All the other teams, other fans are not Kings fans. They're saying the team that can drop out of the top 4. I think it's going to be the Kings. So everyone's doubting us right now. So right now it's time for the Kings to really stamp it again, and boom, we're going to be here, and y'all will have to deal with us. So that's going to be the real test for them. Go ahead, Kev. You can say it. I got a response for you. I've been waiting for you to say something about it. That one we can let it be known. It's all good. Kevin said in the private chat, "Why did Gary wear his yellow Steelers shirt?" I hate you for talking. I was waiting for no one to brought it up. I already got one. I
thought someone did. That's why I typed it. I would have said something.
No one said
I can't believe it's been 35 minutes and no one said nothing.
I said something to him. I said something to him when we first joined the pre-show link, but yeah, I agree with you, Kevin. It's very ugly.
Yeah, like my Steelers said, if my Steelers posted I love my Steelers for doing this. I don't know if all the teams do because I don't follow y'all teams. I follow my Pittsburgh Steelers account. 5 minutes after the bowl is over, instead of congratulations, Patrick Mahomes, this, that, and the third, my Steelers say 2023 starts now, and I was like, "Yo, 2023 starts now. Let's go, baby." So we're gonna represent assholes. Okay, sure, you're right. But you got to give credit where credit's due. It was a great season of football. Go ahead, kid. We're gonna switch lanes now. You laughing right now? What was that quote again? Go back. Were you crying?
You laughing right now? The quote will resurface. Don't worry about that, Gary. As perfect timing, guys. Let's get to the NFL now, as it was a big week in the NFL. We got coaching news. We got award winners. But before we get to all of that, I don't know. Kevin just saw something shocking on his phone. I don't know what happened there. But anyways, before we get to the coaching news and the award winners, let's get to the Super Bowl. And, let's just kick things off with a little something light. In journalism, this is what we would call like a softball question. This is a softball topic. What did we think about Rihanna's performance? Because damn, that was good. The over under for how many songs she would perform in that 15 minutes was 9. I counted 11 songs, and she did it while pregnant. And so I loved the show. I thought it was great. Top 5 Super Bowl performance for me. Kevin, let's get your thoughts on that great Super Bowl performance when the Eagles were up by 10 at halftime.
Was that public knowledge that she was pregnant?
No.
I don't think so. No.
I'm about to say, I definitely was talking about this. Like, she kind of got a bump.
Yeah.
Lot of speculation on different.
She's going up and down. She's 20 feet in the air. ASAP Rocky praying like, please. But I mean, yeah, like Shaun said, man, it was a great show. I was locked in from the first song to the end. Alyssa was trying to see what the course was going to be because everyone put money on Run This Town, and she thought it was going to be rigged because she was going to do it. But, it was a great performance. I was kind of hesitant on the beams going up and down. And I didn't know if you guys noticed, but like when they were on the bottom platform, they were still on the top platform dancing, but they just weren't on camera. Like they were up there for a minute.
Some video ESPN posted, someone almost fell, like a little shake happen. I seen like earlier today, Kev. That's
they were too much money. That is a fat lawsuit. But I mean, they had 50 hanging upside down last year, so I've seen it all. But top 5 performance, you definitely got to put it in there. I don't know if it's 1, 2, 3, or 4, but it's definitely top 5. The Weeknd crazy, bro. I love the Weeknd's performance.
Yeah, Weeknd was a great performance.
Weeknd was nuts.
They have, I think they have a budget of because they don't actually get paid for the performance. Like they just do it for all the publicity and the millions and millions of viewers. And also most of the time, like the Weeknd, like they usually align it with like when they're about to go on tour and they're about to sell tickets. They're like, okay, exactly. Like here's the big promotion, like a month before we go on tour. And so the thing about the Weeknd too, is they get like a budget of like 15 million for the actual performance. And I think the Weeknd spent like 5 to 10 million extra of his own money, just because of how big of a performance it was. And it showed. And so anyways, Gary, what did you think of Bad Girl Riri's performance?
I think she did great. The main thing, like you guys already said, like it's actually hit after hit. And it's so funny. I was telling my little cousins the other day, like they knew all the songs too, but it's like some of those songs came out way before obviously they were live. And when they're very young. So you just see like from every generation, from my parents to me to the little kids, like she's had hits in every couple of generations, you know what I'm saying, during prime time years. So just her to be relevant and just show her goatness all over on the stage yesterday, it was really cool to see. I think she did an amazing performance, especially the fact that after we hear later that she was pregnant during the whole thing. So just just performing while you're pregnant is really great for her. So congrats to her, congrats to NFL for having her show up and perform, and she did a great job. I don't know about top 5 and all that. You gotta bring all the lists, and I got to see like at least 10 of them, then we can start talking where it's at. But it's for sure a memorable one.
Gary's gonna put the Who. Gary's putting the Who at number 1 to bump Rihanna out of the top 5. Apparently, Jaevon, how about you? Where would you rank this halftime performance?
I'm not even gonna lie, I didn't watch the performance because I was at the store.
Makes sense.
He was
making money.
I saw like little bits and pieces of it that she was pregnant and all this stuff, and people was betting on what song that she was.
All right, Bon, I got a different question for you then. We didn't even watch the halftime show, right? Real quick before we get into the main football, I was gonna say, all right, what do you think about the field things? I know we all seen spent almost like $1 million on the field, and they got them slipping everywhere. What you think about the field, Vaughn?
Why don't they should have just used whatever the Arizona Cardinals play with.
That's what they play with, Toddy.
They play with.
No, I think they played with turf. I thought that's what they did the grass.
Well, so what I ended up reading about it is that they put in a special field for this game that they just put in 2 weeks ago. However, the Cardinal surface that they had played on all year long was basically very similar. This was just like a new technology of turf, I guess, because the Chiefs did say after the game, like we saw throughout this game, that the Eagles, Kevin, were the ones constantly changing their cleats, while the Chiefs, they kept one pair of cleats on pretty much the whole game, to my knowledge, at least to what they reported. And it was because I think they said that the Chiefs had played there. Patrick had said that the Chiefs had played there earlier in the year. So what are your thoughts on that, Kevin?
Honestly, it's funny you say that because I know you guys know, but I went to the Eagles-Arizona Cardinals game, and they were falling all over the place. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And I thought, I just had one too many, and I was just seeing shit. But it was funny to see it. It just kind of happened again. But it was crazy to think that it really seemed like it only happened to Eagles players. I feel like the Chiefs came in prepared.
Nah, they had a couple.
They had a couple, but I feel like they were more prepared for it because, like you mentioned, Shaun, they've been there. But it's funny that the Eagles played there and they weren't prepared for it as well. So, I mean, I'm not going to make the grass excuse.
Hey, I respect that. I respect that.
I just talked about. Yeah, go ahead, Shaun.
No. I was just going to ask you what your thoughts on it was since you posed the question.
Oh yeah, I was just thinking. I just seen the stat. I didn't do too much research, like you're reading more into it, but just remember seeing like pregame, like spent $800K on this field. And I know all the players always talk about negatively. They've been pushing like grass field. Because if you ever walked on turf and walked on grass, you could tell the big difference. You know what I'm saying? It's basically walking on hard rocks on the turf, basically. And so them trying to promote that to be the more safety and more, that's obviously what the NFL needs to more dive deep in and trying to get all grass fields everywhere because it's been proven. I think Kelsey or I think Kittle, one of those tight ends, been having an initiative showing like stats behind how if you have grass fields, less injury prone and things of nature. And obviously NFL has a little problem sometimes if players getting really injured and being getting suffocated by that for the rest of their life. So I think they should really look in that. In terms of slippage, I just hate how I don't know they're talking about the paint, the grass. I just don't like, bro. Can we just have no one slipping? Because that little slips kind of mess up the game a little bit here and there. You know what I'm saying? And so obviously, like Kevin said, the coaches. Seen Sean Payne talk about this before about how you was strict on certain shoes, and that comes with coaching leadership. Like no playing around, you have to wear these shoes with this many inches on your cleats and things of that nature. So I just feel like next time the NFL has to do a better job getting a better field. Or the coaches got to be more prepared with the better shoes, something of that nature. Because it's just kind of weird to see on the biggest stage, why are people slipping? These guys are top tier athletes. They're not slipping in real life, and you barely see them slip them how much they were yesterday on regular game day. So that's the only thing I was like, that's a little negative part of the game. But obviously, still a great game.
It was a great game. And so the Chiefs ultimately won 38-35. And I just want to get to a couple of these predictions from everyone before we get to what actually did happen. So our guy James in the YouTube comments said Chiefs 31-27. Uncle Manny said Chiefs 31-28. Congrats, Uncle Manny. You got the point spread correct. Gary said Chiefs 24-21. You also got the point spread correct, Gary. Jaevon said Chiefs 30-20. And also, we all had Patrick Mahomes as the MVP. I had Chiefs 34-30. And Kevin, you said Eagles 35-14. And Hassan Reddick, 3.5 sacks, forced fumble, defensive touchdown. Okay, all that stuff.
I did get the defensive touchdown right, just not for our team. I did call the fumble touchdown, though. I did call the fumble touchdown, just not on the wrong jersey.
Wrong jersey.
Just so close. But anyways, and so I wanted to ask you, Kevin, before we get into the game that was, one of my friends, he saw one of our videos on Twitter, my friend Keith, and he thought that you were crazy for picking the Chiefs to only score 14 points in this game. So before we get to the actual game itself, just let's get to the Chiefs' points here. 38 points they scored. What were you thinking going into this one? Like, did you really just think the Eagles were going to shut them down completely? Because it's Patrick Mahomes.
Honestly, man, if you would have asked me on Friday it's why I said what I said, everything coming into it, it kind of built up this aroma that it was either going to be a close game or it was going to be a shootout. The Eagles have had one of the best defenses in the league. They stayed in Philly, though, on Sunday, but it is what it is. But just going forth, I just thought it was going to be a real mismatch on the outside for sure, because I know Juju's not a number one guy. Valdez-Scantling is the number one guy, so they really didn't have a true number one guy. So that was really a lot going into it. And then, of course, the D-line presence, that's what really was going into it. I knew Patrick Mahomes was going to do his thing, and that's why, I spotted him 14. But I was wrong.
All right, before we move on, Kev, I just want to we got to dive into it now. Kev, what is the overall perspective of this Super Bowl? How are you feeling? What do you think about your team? Do you feel like y'all got robbed? Do you feel like y'all played a bad game? Do you feel like y'all fumbled the bad? Do y'all feel like the Patrick Mahomes then came back on you guys? What you feeling today? You got to dive into it now.
So this is actually the first time I've talked about the game. Toddy called me
we know.
3 times.
He didn't answer.
I got a couple phone calls. I got a couple texts. I had to honestly turn my phone off because if I would have answered those phone calls, they were from loved ones. There probably wouldn't be a podcast anymore. I probably wouldn't have a lot of close friends. I would have just went off on everybody. And not
you talked to
because
Kenny.
we lost.
Did
No,
Kenny
but Kenny's over here DMing people like, "Hey, checking on Kevin." People are calling me, "Hey, bro, Kenny told me to check on you. Are you okay?" And I was like, "He told you to do what?" These people don't really watch football. They're honestly concerned about me. Like, Kevin, is everything okay? Like, Kenny just messaged me. We haven't talked since high school, and I was like,
man, my own family, Kevin's asking about your well-being. I have my cousin texting me, "Is Kevin okay?" Literally, like, I'm tuning into the pod. Swear to God, Kev, are you thinking I'll show you my cousin Abby? He might be in the. I don't know if he's watching right now. He literally texts me like, "Hey, is Kevin okay? Make sure you tune in tomorrow." I'm like, oh man. But go ahead.
Oh,
yeah, man. How I'm overall feeling, man. You know, it was a great run, but if you would have told me Monday that we would have led them and we would have had more first downs, more third down conversions, more plays, more drives, more passing yards, total yards, time of possession, Gary, I would have been homeless because I would have bet you my next check, my next check, and my next check. And if you would have told me we would have held Patrick Mahomes under 200 yards and Travis Kelce under 100, Gary, I promise you, I would have gone bankrupt. You would have had to come in here and take my Xbox, you would take my TVs, my shoes, everything. But it's simple, man.
Hey.
I think you got it, Gary.
Nah, I would say that was hilarious. And you know what, Kev, that's why we love you here, because you know what, he said in the real true fashion of you know, he's not. I was hoping he didn't. You know, I never seen Kevin how he's gonna. I don't know how he's gonna react to it, guys. Really didn't know. I was like, man, is he gonna make 1,000 excuses, or he's just gonna be like, man, like you said, your Phillies D was left in Philly, my guy. And I'm sorry to say that. And everyone, my payment was received by Kevin. So thank you, Kevin, for right there. No, nothing. Just send the payment. No talking. It's all good. It's all love. I thought I was going to say that. This, man, you know what? The funniest thing is, man, before we get into the game, let's just shout out Jalen Hurts, bro. I was all year saying, I didn't say that I not believe in him. I said I wanted to see in the big moments. I feel like I haven't seen the big moment. And even though he didn't get that last possession to really stamp that big moment, before that, other than the turnover, which you know that was the difference in this game, Kevin. One of the key differences in this game, and man, he played a great game. Obviously, yards wise and stats wise, he outplayed Patrick Mahomes. If you would look at it, I don't know if I really want to buy into that notion. It was a pretty close game. Obviously, Patrick did baby go activities, y'all. He did baby go activities. Second half, down by 10. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't sweating at all. They got the ball back. They're gonna come back and score. Only thing I was nervous about was Kevin's defense was playing. The offensive for the Philadelphia was really cooking, and I didn't see Chiefs getting a stop. Like they didn't feel like they couldn't get a stop until they made that first. They picked up that fumble recovery, and after that, momentum all shifted. But still, Jalen Hurts come back, scores a touchdown. You know what I'm saying? Comes back, ties the game up 35. Like was not backing down. So this game was all epic. I feel like really great, and this showed how both teams and both quarterbacks. These are really the two best teams I feel like in the NFL when you looked on Sunday. And you know we can say I know that I see Von's face. Maybe you know the Niners could have been here, but at the end of the day, even though I know Ayuk said they got exposed and all that things of that nature, it was a great game, and that's what I was looking forward to. Patrick Mahomes showed why he's a go. Andy Reid, all these plays. Oh my God, y'all! These plays they run. I know Kevin was they're over here looking at the sideline, types it, and then gets a playoff. Like all the things they just test and see, it's just crazy to see. And man, they're starting up the dynasty, and can't do nothing about it. Can't do nothing about it.
Before we move on, I just have to say, like, yeah, Jalen Hurts played really well, but from an Eagles fan who's watched all 20 games, I think he left a lot on the field, man. You can definitely tell that he went in there and said, "It's me or nothing. It's me or nothing." You know, all of our plays are read options, and I watched the game back. And if we just hand the ball off, everyone in the world knows that Jalen Hurts wants to run the football. Everyone. So if we just hand the ball off a little bit more, Miles Sanders, MIA, missing in action, and that was a huge thing.
Second week in a row.
Yeah, you know, Jalen Hurts can do this, and yeah, Boston Scott can do this, but I really think our OC came into the game saying that we can't pay Miles next year, so let's go ahead and just sit him there. You know, 1,000-yard rusher, a Pro Bowler, and for us to not give him the opportunity and the touches really was disappointing. You know, Jalen Hurts went toe-to-toe with Mahomes. He proved that he's the best quarterback in the NFC. That's all cute and dandy, but we could have won that game if he didn't try to be LeBron James. There were better examples, just trying to be Superman. You know, like Gary mentioned with the fumble. He didn't.
You blaming Jalen on the wall? Who you blaming? Who's the? I know this.
I blame it on the defense, 1,000%.
Okay. How about the defense?
But Jalen, you know, the numbers look good, but from like I said, for someone who's been watching it from game one, from week one, from preseason games, he just didn't trust his guy, and he was double clutching a lot, and you just gotta trust in your guys that got you there. Like, I know you wanted to come out and make a point. You thought you were gonna be the MVP, offensive player of the year, this and that. You got the contract on the line. Everyone's saying you can't throw, and I feel like we've really neglected the run game, and it really took us to the second half to realize that they're playing us to pass at this point. Like, it got to the point where they're just gonna pass it. So Jalen would look back for 1 second and take off. But I really feel like our offensive coordinator, our whole coaching staff just got out-coached. Like Gary mentioned, with the first one to Tony, put it up, we weren't expecting it. But for us to go punt the ball and come down in the same position, opposite side of the field to a different person is unexcusable. Maddox,
wide open in red zone.
You can tell that our defensive coordinator really relied on the 4-man rush. And I get it. You don't want to blitz Patrick Mahomes, but we have to stick to what we've been doing all year. Us sitting back in zone isn't going to do anything. And for the love of me, why do we have someone that we're not even going to re-sign one-on-one with Travis Kelce? Marcus Epps isn't even going to be on an NFL roster next year, and we decided that he was the best man to put on him. So it really just goes to show how good of a coach Eric Bieniemy is, and you got to give it a shout out to Andy Reid. But I think we just got out-coached in that second half. For us to have a 10-point lead, and I know you guys saw it, so I'm going to go ahead and give the stat first. There's only been 2 quarterbacks to lose with a 10-point lead. Matt Ryan and Mr. Jalen Hurts. It's a hard one to feel. It's a hard one to say. And like Gary mentioned, we might have catapulted the dynasty, the debates a lot. There's a lot of quarterbacks with 1, and now that he has 2. But I definitely blame the defense. Our linebacker stayed in Philly. Our D-line was slipping and sliding everywhere, but we're not going to call that. And I know a lot of you guys thought I was going to come on here and blame the holding call. It was over before that. For us to have them in 3rd and 10 and Patty runs for 26 yards
on a bum ankle.
Man.
And I would have had a completely different mindset if the Eagles just didn't give up. You saw that on the last few plays, they're just jogging around. If we really wanted that shit, when McKinney gets to the 2, the next dude who has him is grabbing his fucking face mask and throwing him in the end zone. We'll take the penalty on the kickoff. Throw him in. Like, what are you guys doing? Like, I saw CJ just, he's going to slide. Bro, you have to do something.
That was smart play on Tony, though. Now you got to give Tony that. That was a big smart play right there, man.
I wish it was Tony, but it was McKinnon. But you just gotta understand that with the time coming, you gotta do something. We had them 10-0, and I was like, you know what? Of all times for us to be up, of course it's halftime. We gotta wait 35 minutes. They gotta set up the stage. They gotta perform. They gotta clean up the stage. We gotta warm up again. They get
Patty
the ball
got to tie
back
the ankle
half.
up. Get it right.
But another big thing that hurt us is quote unquote fast Batman. He didn't show up. We had him 3rd quarter.
Who?
First down, Quez Watkins.
Who? I thought you said. Who? I think about Devontae
exactly.
Smith.
But you know what I'm talking about by fast Batman. But anyways,
you calling everyone Batman? You just start taking.
They're all Batmans
down the middle. Threw it to him. He looks back, looks at the ball.
Oh yeah, when he drops,
looks back again, and then jumps and just drops the ball. Like you can tell his demons from Washington definitely traveled. So that hurt us, and then it had to be the Goddard show because they're taking away the outside. So we're good. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad, man, overall. And then, with Miles to fumble the first time he touches it, you can tell that, we were really anxious. But like you guys said, we came out first possession, punched it down their throat, and I'm sitting here knocking back these shots like, man, it's a wrap. This is what I've been waiting for. And for us to go to halftime with 14 points, I said, Kevin, God damn it, there's no way Patty doesn't score again. There's no way. They're already at 14. There's nothing we can do. And for him to go down there every possession in the second half and score, you got to put your hat to him, man. The better team won.
Man.
Mad respect to you, Kevin, because I was really I don't know if I was expecting to hear the pass interference as the first or the holding as the first thing, but I was expecting to hear it eventually. And you listed every single reason why the Eagles didn't get it done before even thinking about mentioning that. So like mad respect to you. And I reposted one of those comments from our YouTube stream. Terry Libben, that's my big brother. He is a diehard Chiefs fan, and that's a lot coming from him. Him showing you respect as well. So respect to you, Kevin, for how you handled it as an Eagles fan. Mad respect. So Jaevon, I want to throw it to you next, and I want to form the question this way because through Shaun and Vaughn, and then even here to Stats Over Politics, you have referenced numerous times a very good 49ers reporter in David Lombardi in a lot of his tweets and his reporting. And I saw an interesting tweet from David Lombardi that I want to get your thoughts on here. And this can be our next topic here. Is David Lombardi said, based on what we saw tonight, Philly's defense was exposed by a good, balanced Kansas City rushing attack. He thinks that with a healthy Brock Purdy at QB, the 49ers would have beaten the Eagles in the NFC Championship game. The Chiefs would have beaten the 49ers in the Super Bowl, and that KC is the undisputed top team. What are your thoughts on that, Jaevon?
Hey, man, what can I say? Debo and Brandon Ayuk were right, man. They came in, they had the passing game down, and, the Eagles, they kind of galloped their way into the Super Bowl. They beat the Giants. That's right. They beat the Giants. They beat the Niners with a running back at quarterback. They went all the way and did what they were supposed to do. Fly Eagles Flies playing everywhere, all over the stadium. That's all you can hear is Fly Eagles Fly. And as Kevin changes and he has his conference championship
I just have to make sure y'all didn't forget.
Yeah.
31-7.
No, we didn't.
So,
we didn't.
Yeah, and then, for
the package already came in.
Those comments come out about James Bradbury. It was only a match made in heaven for how the game ended. It was picture perfect. You couldn't put that in a movie. It was insane. You just can't make it up. I just think we saw. Kevin said there's 3 Batmans. There's only 2. AJ Brown showed up.
Oh, of course.
I think this was definitely Devontae Smith's coming out party. For him to have 100 yards receiving and kind of just be all over the place. He was a guy that was just making plays all over the place. That wasn't a catch because the ball, he didn't survive the ground. He got 2 feet in, but he didn't survive the ground. I think what a catch is supposed to be, like the definition of a catch is you get both feet in bounds and you have to survive the ground. He didn't survive the ground, so that ended up being an incomplete pass. Jalen Hurts is top 5 quarterback. I think he's kind of cemented himself as definitely one of the better quarterbacks in the league on what he did going toe-to-toe with the MVP and Patrick Mahomes. I don't know what game Kevin was watching saying that he left a lot of plays on the field. The guy had 3 rushing touchdowns. He led the team in rushing, obviously in passing with 300 yards.
I was thinking the same
and a
thing,
touchdown.
Man. He did a lot of things.
He set records in the Super Bowl. So he's definitely going to get a huge payday. I thought it was win, lose, or draw for him. He's going to get paid in the offseason regardless. I think the Eagles defense did not get any type of pressure on Patrick Mahomes, and me and Kevin kind of went back and forth and said that they wouldn't, if they weren't going to be able to get pressure on Patrick Mahomes with that front seven, Hassan Reddick, Sweating those guys and Davis, those guys that weren't able to get pressure on Patrick Mahomes was kind of the tail of the tape there. And we saw what happens when Patrick Mahomes gets pressured. When he's pressured in the Super Bowl, they lost. I thought that Patrick Mahomes didn't have the crazy 400-yard game that people thought he was going to have, but the guy still threw for 300 yards or 3 touchdowns. Got Travis Kelce involved. We saw Juju Smith was getting involved heavily in the second half. I think he had 5 receptions in the second half alone. Isaiah Pacheco is a guy we're going to have to start talking about as one of the top backs in the league, the way that he runs, how hard he runs, and his threat in the passing game.
10.
It's definitely somebody that we got to look out for. And I think that overall, Andy Reid was the better coach, and it kind of came down to the coaching. Andy Reid is, I think, the best play caller ever, let alone the best play caller in the league. But the way that he was scheming up plays, we saw him do the ring around the Rosie in the Super Bowl, and I was like, that shit ain't gonna work against the Eagles, but it'll work against the Raiders. But I thought it was just crazy how the game just transpired. Patrick Mahomes getting the ball back with the game tied up, and then for them to have that punt return, Kadarius Toney with the largest punt return in Super Bowl history was insane. I kind of thought after that it was like, okay, this punt return, kind of with the same thing in the AFC Championship game from Sky Moore when they got that punt return. It was like, all right, it looks like the Chiefs are probably going to pull this one out. You can go back and forth with the James Bradbury hold. He grabbed him. He altered the route. He even said in the locker room, hey, I held him. I didn't think they were going to call it, but it is what it is, man. And I think, Jerick McKinnon was a very heady play of him to slide before and not score and give them the ball back. Well, I think they would have had at least a minute 20 left, but they wouldn't have any timeouts. Overall, I think, Super Bowl MVP, league MVP, Patrick Mahomes, when you got that guy on your team, pretty much anything is possible. Jalen Hurts, I think, cemented himself as a top 5 quarterback in this league right now. And
all right, so Jaevon just fell out and he just came back. I can see him, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if he is back. Jaevon, are you back?
I am back.
He's back. All right, so finish your thought.
But yeah, I just wanted to just say that definitely Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league. Jalen Hurts is definitely a top 5 QB in this league. I think if you kind of round it out, it's Patrick Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Jalen, Herbert. That'll probably be my top 5.
You're taking Josh Allen, Mr. Owen, what in the AFC Championship over Jalen Hurts?
Third.
You're taking him over Jalen Hurts?
Yes. Yes.
Because of what? What is your reasoning behind that?
You would.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
I said I'm not taking him over anybody, and he's on that list.
Yeah, so Hurts is 4th, Allen is 3rd. You guys can argue about that. Put the TikTok camera on there.
Wait, what? Wait, okay, go real quick. I'll pose the question real quick. So we'll have this nice little clip for us, right? Promo real quick. Vaughn, what is your top 5 after this Super Bowl? After Super Bowl, I think this was 57, if I remember correctly. After this 2022-2023 season, what is your top 5 QB? You can go by ranking or you can go by tiers, however you want to go, my man.
Yeah, top 5. So I got Mahomes, Burrow, I got Josh Allen, I got Jalen Hurts, and then I got Herbert. Top 5.
I like it. I like that.
I'll do this. I'll say Patrick Mahomes, then everybody else. The whole people you just named.
Yeah, exactly. Patrick Mahomes, a big gap, and then everyone else.
Patrick Mahomes, half leg Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes on a bad day. Patrick Mahomes 2 years ago, and then we'll play everybody else. That's how it's looking like for me, guys. On Josh Allen, Kev, I'll give it to you. I think Jalen Hurts has a big argument now to be right next to Josh Allen. I think really Josh Allen has to be a tier below. If you're going to talk about winning wise, I think Josh Allen, it should be Jalen Hurts and Joe Burrow, the guys who have both been to a Super Bowl the last few years, in a tier together. And then maybe we could put those two. I wouldn't be too mad though if they want to put Josh Allen. That's not talking. I'd rather even put, but it's Josh Allen. He hasn't won enough, guys. Let's not keep putting Josh Allen out there, please.
Yeah, put Josh Allen in the NFC, play against the fucking Giants 3 times a year. Okay.
True. Good point. That's why I said put them all together because I could see you could put Herbert.
You're supposed to play the Patriots and the Jets and the Dolphins.
They're better than the fucking Giants.
I mean, our whole division made the playoffs.
Giants, Commanders.
I'm just saying, Jets didn't make the playoffs.
Oh my god. Okay.
The Durs did not make the playoffs.
Yeah.
The Durs almost.
Okay. Lawrence should be somewhere in here too now after this weekend.
Top 5.
Lamar Jackson should be in there. That's why I said tier wise. I think all these guys are
not this year.
Same tier.
Top 5
goes this year. Okay.
Goes Patty, Joe, and then it has to be Jalen, bro. It has to be Jalen.
You could argue, Jalen could be 3rd. I would.
No, could be. Yeah. He is 3rd.
Kev, I'm not gonna lie.
They both do the same thing. They both run the ball a lot, and they both throw the ball a lot.
Kev, hold on. Do you see Shaun's face? I think he's pointing at the ticker here. I don't know if you want to address the ticker.
I think he's pointing at me.
He's pointing at you.
I'm pointing at you and the ticker because I'm pointing at you and the ticker because
what podcast?
Here, Kevin. Well, I'll switch us. Okay,
I knew what you were doing.
Now, let's take a look at the ticker because Kevin said I'm taking Jalen Hurts over Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, and Joe Burrow. And what I just heard is that Jalen Hurts was 3rd on your list. So what changed? To me, he got better.
Honestly, you caught me at a good time. We were probably still ain't never lost. It was still MVP talks.
It's okay.
So I gotta admit when I'm wrong. The quote was wrong, but he definitely got to be top 3. He definitely.
Like I always say, Kev, new information, new opinions. New information, new opinions, guys.
Yeah, that is the Kendrick Perkins line right there. He's like Kendrick Perkins. He flip flops his takes all the time. And so Kevin, I just wanted to get to a couple of these YouTube comments real quick. So just Joshua said, "Hey Kevin, how does that L taste? No more Eagles gear, huh?" But Kevin is wearing
Hey Toddy, what does it say? Toddy and Shaun, what does it say?
This is the
No, I want you to read it. I don't want you to pretend what you don't know. I want you to read it. And who did we beat?
Conference championship.
And who did we?
49ers.
Oh, no. Who did we fucking destroy?
Congratulations.
Say it again,
bro.
Who did we fucking destroy?
I can't wait.
Josh
to go
Johnson.
back to the league next year.
Oh, Purdy played too.
On and pop.
Purdy played too.
Put us in the.
Did Jaevon just fall out again? I think Vaughn. All right. Well, for our audio-only listeners, Jaevon just froze again. He's dealing with some technical difficulties, but he's still on our screen.
Stats over politics.
Welcome to Stats Over Politics. And okay, so Jaevon's reloading. Jaevon, are you back with us? Because you froze for a cool 15 to 20 seconds. Is he back? Oh, okay. All right. So Jaevon is not back yet. And so anyways, just a couple of these other comments is my brother Terry. He said, besides the Eagles and the 49ers, the NFC is trash. I mean,
true.
Yeah.
Besides the Eagles.
I think we could. Okay, Kevin. And Marcellus wanted to tell everyone that he has arrived finally. And also he wants you to know that none of that matters, Kevin.
Isn't he a Cowgirls fan?
No, Marcellus is a 49ers fan.
Oh, yeah, Marcellus, you might want to get up out of here.
All right. The man has come back. Is the man back?
Time.
He makes his return once again. I've added him back in here. Jaevon, can you hear us?
I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay, Jaevon is back. Did you want to?
The audience watching. This is for fun. You know, guys, this is what makes our show great because we do things like this unexpectedly. We got Kev popping out. We got me popping out. We got Shaun changing shirts. We always crazy things happening. So, you know, keep watching the side notes.
They need to put us. They need to put us on the Thursday night game, opening day, Eagles versus Niners at the link, and we're gonna fucking destroy them.
Who's gonna be your quarterback?
It don't matter who our quarterback is. We're gonna
have the same coach.
Yes.
Ooh.
Y'all don't even. You guys are losing your O coordinator, the person
Eagles
that's
money
calling
line.
y'all losing him. Y'all gonna be
It
worse.
doesn't matter if your coach is going to continue to put bench warmers on Hassan Reddick. It doesn't matter who the coach is. We can just show up if that's the game plan for you guys.
Oh my god! He does not
if that's the game plan
Smoke.
with Coach of the Year Kyle Shanahan,
be talking.
They got
Y'all
exposed
can't
in the Super Bowl game. Our receivers already said what was going to happen. They predicted what was going to happen, and it happened.
Hey, Toddy, I saw that. How many catches did Debo have yesterday?
They shouldn't.
Oh, actually, no, not him. Not him. Ayuk. What did Ayuk have? Oh, no. How many field goals did Robbie Gold kick?
Damn, I thought you talking like y'all won or something. That's crazy.
Just saying, bro. It's easy to complain from the couch, and they have all this free time to do all this podcasting, so you might as well say some stuff.
And to lose, and to lose too. So
hey, bro,
that hurts.
We beat the fuck out of y'all. And you got to hear that for 365 days.
Hey, you know what was crazy? The way that
we beat the shit out of y'all.
The way they were running up and down and throwing for 300 yards. They wasn't doing that shit to us.
We didn't have to. Y'all couldn't stop the run.
What are you talking about? Y'all rushed for 150 yards.
And how many people had a touchdown? How many different running backs had a touchdown?
Anyway,
let's keep.
They wasn't doing that against us.
We don't have to relive that. I know it's a sensitive topic.
Before our quarterback went out, they wasn't doing that against us. But congratulations on the loss. Congratulations,
man. Thanks for how many you guys? How's the Pro Bowl, Toddy?
Oh, man.
Kiddo got a chance to sing at the SBs. Man, you guys looked real good out there. You was singing a Purdy like, oh man, you saved the season, Mr. Irrelevant saved the season. Ended up at the award show. But hey, CMC was a Pro Bowler, so that's good.
I think Jaevon froze again. But so anyways, we're gonna keep this thing pushing. Jaevon, I see you are back now, but we're gonna keep things pushing. I'm just gonna give my final thoughts on this, and you know.
I thought I was tripping. I thought my
to misery. Cry, Eagles, cry.
Oh my God.
Oh, touchdown, 1, 2, 3. Hit them in their toes, hit them in their thighs, and watch those Eagles cry. Cry, Eagles, cry. On the road to victory. CHIEFS Chiefs. It was a little rough, to be honest, but, you know, I made it through.
Did you make that song up? Hey,
Nah, it's
we
the
ain't got
Eagles
no
song.
production meetings or nothing, y'all. Look at this. Sean doing all this, man.
Oh, we get
clap up Sean
copyrighted.
real quick.
Gotta delete the whole episode.
Yeah, so that I wanted to execute that much better. You know, Terry, I got Terry laughing. Terry said LOL. Jaevon, I hope if you didn't just catch all of my song, I hope that you watch it later on YouTube, because even though it was a little choppy, I messed up the beginning. Yes, Gary, I wrote that myself. I mean, cry, Eagles cry. That was trending on Twitter yesterday. And so I just thought, you know, make a
little
remix.
verse.
Yeah, I had to drop a verse, you know, went from Fly Eagles Fly to Cry Eagles Cry. And you know, I thought it was a really nice moment, Kevin. It was a really nice moment there during the national anthem, but you know, it after that now it's going to become a meme.
Oh my god! When he cried and I saw it, I said, "Bro, if we fucking lose, this is gonna be everywhere." And bro, I'm telling you, when I had that Toddy, I had a tweet posted for all of y'all, and I said, "This is all of you guys right now."
In his draft.
Yeah, but then they kicked the field goal and I instantly hit the X, and Gary his money, turned off the TV. Didn't even know who won Super Bowl MVP.
Well, it was Patrick Mahomes.
You know,
I mean, it was obvious. I didn't want to see it.
You didn't want to see the speeches? You didn't want to see Travis Kelce talking shit?
No, man.
No.
I don't want to hear that shit. I had other shit to do.
You got to fight for your right to party. According to Travis Kelce. Real quickly, Kevin, before we move on from the Eagles completely for at least another 6 months, I just wanted to know, what are your thoughts on the career of Jason Kelce if he does end up retiring? Because it seems like it could go either way right now, and obviously, like he's a Hall of Famer.
You know, Jason Kelce has been phenomenal for us for the things that he's come in and done. You know, when we got to Philly, it was a lot. He went through a lot of coaching changes, a lot of success, and then a lot of more coaching changes and some more success. You know, just for what he's done for us as an Eagles fan, if he walks away, man, I can't even be upset. I was really banking on us winning and him saying, "Fuck it, I'm coming back." But you know, now that we lost and the emotions have come down, Walker stay, man. I wouldn't mind him staying until he can't play no more. But you definitely want to see people like him go out on a high note. Hasn't allowed a sack in a long time. Him and Lane Johnson has really been the OGs of this offensive line. So, you know, whatever Jason Kelce decides to do, man, as a day one Eagle fan, man, I appreciate you and all the quarterbacks you protected from me.
Respect to Jason Kelce. You know, he had an awesome career. And my favorite thing about Jason Kelce, I don't know if you guys, Marcellus, your comment was funny, but I'm not going to throw shade at Mr. Jason, so I'm going to leave that in the YouTube graveyard. But anyways, my favorite part about Jason Kelce, and Kevin, I'm sure you've seen this, and Gary and Jaevon, I'm sure you guys have seen this as well, where when Jason and Travis were at the University of Cincinnati together, Travis ran into a little bit of trouble. He was being a dumb young kid, got kicked off the football team, and then Jason was the reason why he got back on the football team. And he turned into maybe arguably one of the greatest tight ends ever because of what Jason did for him. And the fact that Jason was such a stand-up guy and he did everything right on the football team to give him credibility. He was big brother, and he advocated for Travis. He got Travis's life back on the right track. Travis made the dean's list and all that at the University of Cincinnati, went from being a quarterback to a tight end, and the rest is history, you know. And now Travis is a 2-time Super Bowl champion, Kev.
Before we move on, I don't know if you guys know this, but when Travis Kelce got drafted, Andy Reid called him and was like, "Are you gonna fuck this up?" And he was like, I'm not gonna fuck this up, Coach." He goes, "You know what? Give the phone to your brother." He said, "If I draft him, is he gonna fuck this up?" So I think, you know, I gotta throw my Eagle love in here. Jason Kelce is the reason this is a dynasty, man. Without Travis Kelce, I don't know if we sitting here today. So I you know what? You might have sparked it. He might have sparked it.
My favorite part
activities.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt, Gary. He did do Big Brother activities. And my favorite part of that phone call that you mentioned, Kevin, is when Andy said that to Travis first, and then he said, "Pass the phone to your brother." He passed the phone over to Jason. He says, "Is he going to fuck it up?" And he's like, no, he's not going to. And so Andy made sure that he wouldn't. And we know that Andy Reid, his son, has had his own trials and tribulations throughout his life. So Andy's a forgiving person. He forgave Travis. And again, like I said, the rest is history. So, guys, now let's move on to some other NFL news, and this is in the coaching world. As we've had a lot of news come out in the coaching world just in the last week, and so this did happen over a week ago, but we didn't get to it last week as the Broncos, they hired Sean Payton, had to send a lot of compensation to New Orleans and the Saints for Sean Payton. The Texans officially hired DeMeco Ryans. Steve Wilkes, the former interim head coach of the Panthers, he was now hired as the 49ers' new defensive coordinator to replace DeMeco Ryans. Brian Flores, he was hired as the Vikings' new defensive coordinator. So shout out to Mike Tomlin for keeping him in the league. Brian Flores will probably be a head coach again one day. And the Colts and Cardinals, their head coach openings are still open. However, the Colts are nearing a deal to hire the Eagles' offensive coordinator, Shane Steichen, who is from Sacramento, went to Oak Ridge High School, which is pretty cool. So shout out to Shane Steichen.
Good riddance.
Head coach.
Damn.
Okay, Kevin.
One game, Kev. You over here. Hey, that was your fault. Y'all didn't have no rushes, no nothing. Didn't make he was sitting there pretty.
He's
man.
the play caller. What do you mean? He's
I'm
the
talking
reason
about
he had
Patrick
rushes.
Kevin needs somebody to blame.
That's what I'm
He needs
saying,
someone to
like-
blame.
Oh, I
That's what
definitely
I'm
don't blame him. I just wish we would have got the
No, but I was
miles
just
going
saying.
into
I know. I
it.
do remember a quote. I think this was the best defense. I don't know.
Eric Bieniemy, hot seat coming into the Eagles. OC.
Okay, I'm glad that you mentioned that name, Kevin, because just getting to this NFL coaching news in general, I wanted to get to Eric Bieniemy because I was very confused when I saw the news about Eric Bieniemy this past week, and I don't know if you guys saw it. He's like a leading candidate for like 2 other offensive coordinator jobs. He was a guy who was a top head coaching candidate a couple years ago. We always talk about minority candidates not getting jobs, especially black head coaches. This guy was a top head coaching candidate, and now he's got bumped down to the offensive coordinator level, and it seems like they're trying to keep him at that offensive coordinator level. And also the other thing that I'm wondering about that is if I were Eric Bieniemy and I already had an offensive coordinator job with the best quarterback on the planet, the best tight end, I love you, George, best tight end on the planet in Kansas City, why would Eric Bieniemy want to leave that job and go to another one? I guess maybe so then he can prove that he can have success with another offense and then get the head coaching job. So Gary, is that why?
Yeah, I mean, that's all we could put together here. That's what's all lining up to. Like, clearly he hasn't got a head coaching opportunity like he deserves because, you know, he's been on, like, you already know, anytime a team is great, anytime a team is winning as much as these teams are, everyone starts picking the team apart from coaching staffs, you know what I'm saying? And that's how you start building your tree and things of that nature. And Andy Reid, obviously, is building his tree, and they should give Eric Bieniemy a chance somewhere else to be a head coach. But obviously being under the shadow, like Vaughn said, of one of the greatest play callers ever, one of the greatest coaches ever, clearly now, it's leaving a shadow on his, which is sad to say because realistically, like if we're winning, I'm winning. We should all be sharing the love together. But he's getting knocked, and obviously that could be obviously racial because we all know some of these, just not to be saying anything. It's pretty pure fact. It's pretty well documented. A lot of these owners sometimes have racial tendencies, but from where they're from, I ain't scared to say it. That's how it is already been approached, and they already have a track record in NFL of not hiring enough minority head coaches. So it sucks to say that Eric has to go the long run. I have to do this whole another thing, like you said, have to basically take a sidestep and really step down because what other offense is better than the Chiefs offense that you're going to go to have a better opportunity? So you're doing great in the greatest opportunity you have, but just because you're alongside a great person, you can't be good yourself. It just doesn't seem right to me. I just hope that he, makes the best decision for himself. You know what? Don't take another Loman coach. Like, take something. Hopefully, has a good quarterback, a good situation where they're going to believe in you, and he's going to really prove it. Where he's calling all the plays and he's getting all the love, and then force it down their throat that he's going to be head coach one day because obviously he deserves it. Because you could tell from all the players in that team talking so highly of him. I mean, well, you could say what else they're supposed to say, but they have been on many different levels, going on insights of talking about how like Travis Kelce and them talking about how like great of a person in the room he is, great of how offensive mind he is, and things of that nature. And obviously, he's been learning from someone so great. So I feel like they should give him opportunity, and yeah, simple as that. Hopefully, he can work his way through. Sometimes the road's gonna be tougher than everyone else's, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
You guys are tuned into episode number 15 of Stats Over Politics. Kevin, did you want to make a point about this?
Yeah, man. Just to kind of bounce off what Gary's been saying, like we know with the Rudy rule and everything that Eric Bieniemy is going through, now it's looking like he's a bad interviewer, things like that. I really wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs win a Super Bowl next year and Andy steps down and gives it to Eric. I think it's going to be a Bruce Arians, Todd Bowles kind of situation because Andy knows what he has in that room. He knows it, and like Marcellus has been preaching in the comments, Andy Reid gets the last call. Like it goes off of Bieniemy's play sheet, but it goes through Andy's headset first. So I feel like he's just going to hand it off to him. And there's no one else who I believe Patrick Mahomes would rather have the whole Chief organization. That's someone who's been around from the start. They've had a lot of defensive coordinator changes, but this offense has been dynamic. So I really hoping, hopefully it doesn't have to come from them winning another Super Bowl. But whenever Andy leaves, I definitely think it's going to be his team. And it should be. I don't think it's not even a hiring candidate, like a hiring process, just like with the Todd Bowles thing. You got to hand them off something like this. And a lot of the coaches don't start off with great quarterbacks. For him to continue to build off that momentum with Patrick Mahomes, I feel like it would be two peas in a pod.
That's a great point, Kevin, because I think back to Josh McDaniels, who is now the Raiders head coach, but for a lot of years after it didn't work out for him in Denver, he went back to the Patriots, and then he turned down multiple head coaching opportunities, and a lot of people thought it was because McDaniels was going to be that next guy in line, exactly, Jaevon, where he was going to be that next guy in line when Bill Belichick inevitably does decide to retire. We don't know when that'll happen. And maybe Bill told him last year before he accepted the Raiders head coaching job, I'm going to be around for at least another 5 years or so. Okay, Josh got tired of waiting and he decided to go to Vegas.
Exactly, though. That's like, why does he have to wait for some guy to, obviously it'd be nice to, be next in place, but he shouldn't be having to be waiting, because if we look at his resume, obviously, like one of our commenters said that, yeah, Andy gets the last call. But obviously, if you've been in such a system for so long and you're obviously your role is offensive coordinator, it's not like you're a side piece here. You're an offensive coordinator, and you've been in that room learning so much. I'm pretty sure he has the ability, even though Andy has the last call, he still has the ability and I bet you, a significant impact and a significant role on that decision-making process, even though, like, he's the vice president. The president makes the final decision, but the vice president has a key role on the decision-making process. So I feel like his opportunity, especially like you said, Shaun, he's already been getting coaching interviews. And, I guess like Kev said, they're trying to make up. I don't know if it's true or not. I haven't read nothing like that, but they're talking about him not being a great interviewer. It looks like they're trying, from the outside looking in, obviously not in those rooms, but it looks like they're just knocking him in any which way they can so they don't give him position, or, you know what I'm saying? So hopefully he can just keep breaking those walls and keep breaking those barriers and just prove that he's going to be a head coach in this league.
Jaevon, I want to get your full thoughts on this as well before we move on to other head coaches or other coaches in general. But something that we saw that was significant from this year's Super Bowl, obviously, was the fact that there was 2 black quarterbacks starting for the first time ever. And I listened to the ESPN Daily podcast this past week, and it was a Friday podcast with Pablo Torre and RG3, and they were talking about how for years with black quarterbacks, because they had the ability to be elusive and to scramble and to make plays out of nothing, that for years that was hated upon and that they always wanted them to stay in the pocket. And now it's seen as a skill and a trait. And so, Jaevon, do you think that kind of the same thing with some of those tropes is starting to happen to Eric Bieniemy when it comes to him not maybe being the best interviewer, but him being obviously one of the best coaches out there?
Well, I want to play devil's advocate a little bit here. Let's look at the jobs that are available right now. Does Eric Bieniemy want to leave a Patrick Mahomes and go to an Arizona Cardinals, where you're hearing things about Kyler Murray? He's kind of like, the FaZe Clan this and Call of Duty that, and, he's heard and all this stuff about him not getting along with, old Cliff. And so does he want to go there? And to, the Colts. The Jeff Saturday Colts. Does he want to go and play coach a team where, the owner and the GM are kind of just very, impulsive and they don't know what to do, and they cut Carson Wentz after they lost to the Jags last game of the year. So what do you think they're going to do to the coach? But, I just think he's in a really great situation, and I think he's going to kind of let the chips fall where they may. Like last year, D'Amico was interviewing he could have been a head coach last year. And he was just looking at the right. He just wanted the right situation to come about for him. So him going now and getting the number 1 pick with the Houston Texans, he's kind of going to be able to grab everything by the reins there. So with Eric Bieniemy, I think he's kind of just waiting on the best situation possible for him. So I don't think that he's not getting jobs. I just think that he's looking at what's out there and is it better than what I have right now. So. And then to also piggyback on what Shaun was saying about, the league, black quarterbacks, and the league is changing. I think it's kind of went from, the pocket passer to Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, those traditional pocket passers to more, of the Michael Vicks, the McNabbs, we're seeing Lamar Jackson, even Patrick Mahomes, guys just being able to be a dual threat quarterback, having the ability, Jalen Hurts, having the ability to use their legs is kind of just becoming the new trend now. People don't want as they call statues, a guy who can't run. If he's not able to be mobile, because these D linemen now are running 4.5s, 4.4s. They're as fast as DBs now. So if you're not able to elude, the pocket and be able to kind of scramble a little bit, I don't think guys are kind of really taking a second look at you. I think you have to be mobile to some extent now in today's game, but there's still kind of those guys out there that kind of just sit in the pocket there. But for the most part, I'd say 80% of the league's quarterbacks can move.
And so I want to get to another head coach now, as we did get into D'Amico Ryan's.
Yeah, I had to think about that one. Like, yeah,
you're right though.
That's high.
You gotta be dual threat. I think you guys still gotta be good in the pocket, but it's great beneficial now to be able to run. Like I don't know, we're all like kind of primetime young. Like obviously Michael Vick, brought to like the first great historic level he did. But like, a couple years like early 2010s, like Colin Kaepernick, and Cam and RG3, and I'm forgetting Russell Wilson. Like those four kind of, especially your guys' division, like the Seattle Niners, they kind of brought that where running was going to be a high point. There were still OGs like, nah, it's not the right way, not the way. And so you can see it tailored towards now the end of the decade where you have to have that in your offense. It's really great to have even Joe Burrow, who like slings it out of the pocket. You can see he's gonna run from a quick 15-yarder if they need that first down. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a clutch throw, like Josh Allen, like kind of like you've seen a little bit of my Big Ben, and what we've seen a little bit slowly. So now it's really like to the point where it's equal and you need both. You know what I'm saying? Before it was like you really don't need both, but like it's good to have, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes it can be negative if you get hit, you get injured, you know what I'm saying? All those things they bring up, how to slide, and that kind of happened with RG3 a couple of times in the beginning, they learned to slide correctly. But now it's like they're looking for now, scouting for, can you do both? Can you do everything great? Like you guys talked about, like you guys are really good, always talk about college football. And you can see all the college football quarterbacks now coming out there, they're all dual threat and they all can do both things. So that's a great point, Vaughn, that like really like that's what you need now. The whole mindset.
The best quarterback in this draft is a dual threat.
Exactly.
And so one of the comments on YouTube from Jaevon's cousin Marcellus.
I know they're trying to ignore that.
Yeah, I was hoping it just moved on.
Well, so Marcellus said D'Amico Ryan's clearly struggled with scheme against the RPO. And so he has now officially been hired as the Texans head coach. And so, Kevin, you're flashing the shirt for our audio-only listeners. Kevin's showing us the conference championship shirt from a couple of weeks ago. And so, Kevin, is Marcellus correct? Do you think that D'Amico does struggle with that RPO? And with that, is he going to struggle as a head coach?
He definitely struggled against the RPO, but like I mentioned, you guys didn't play a running quarterback since week one. So it was definitely I don't think he struggled with it. I think it was just something that, you don't know if Jalen Hurts is going to be healthy. You don't know what you really expect. So for him to come out there and take a couple licks, I definitely think that it threw you guys off, but he's going to be a great coach. And I really hope that Houston doesn't turn on him, because it's the Houston Texans. They're not going to turn it around in one season. Maybe not two, maybe not three, but give him a couple draft picks, get guys that he brought into that system. He's played there. He's I don't know if he was on that AFC Championship team. They didn't win, but they went. I don't know if he was on that team, but he's been around there. He's seen the good days. He's seen the bad days as a coach. He's seen the organization continue to be successful until Deshaun left, of course, but it's shown that there's a blueprint. If you follow the blueprint, you can get there. And it starts with a quarterback. With the number one dual threat, CJ Stroud, is who they'll be taking.
I walked into that one.
You did.
Okay, and so Sean Payton, he got hired as the Broncos head coach, and with Sean Payton getting traded, Sean Payton got traded to the Broncos from the Saints, and Russell Wilson, as we know, got traded from the Seahawks to the Broncos last year. And so the picks that the Broncos gave up combined for Sean Payton and Russell Wilson include 3 first-round picks, 3 second-round picks, and a 5th-round pick. And they got rid of Drew Lock, Noah Fant, and Shelby Harris. And so I want to know, Gary, a guy like Sean Payton, he won a Super Bowl with the Saints, and then he pulled the Urban Meyer basically, saying, I'm going to retire, my health. Okay, I'm back a year later after being on Fox Sports. And so for you, Gary, do you think that Sean Payton's going to have success with the Broncos and Russell Wilson?
The Broncos.
That was hilarious.
The Broncos. Well,
yes.
but that's okay. I was gonna say, but Sean Payton. I was about to go into before you guys said that Sean Payton, man, like literally, like I've been watching the whole time on Fox. It's hard not to go like this guy. I'm not gonna lie, like he got my heart already. Like he's so great at doing interviews, going on all these shows and stuff of that nature. I'm like, I'm not even trying to say anything. Because like really looking at the dumpster fire that the Broncos were last year, which was pretty disappointing. Probably one of the biggest disappointments of the season, or the teams that really failed in terms of expectations, was the Denver Broncos. And Russell Wilson really falling flat in his face and just everyone shitting on him all day. I think Sean Payton's gonna be the right person to fix this due to the fact that Russell Wilson has something to prove. And I know everyone wants to say he fell off a cliff or whatever, throwing Aaron Rodgers probably off the cliff, throwing all these old guys off the cliff, ready to go for the new league and all things of that nature. But I still believe in Russell Wilson. I think he's going to have a bounce back year. And that's why I would believe in Sean Payton, because at the end of the day, they have a new ownership. I think the owners of Walmart obviously have a big stake share. I think that they're now the richest owners in the NFL. So they're going to have money behind this team, even though they don't have that many picks of that nature due to the trades they did. But I think Sean Payton's going to be able to bring Wilson back alive. I think their defense was young and great last year, and I think they're going to get on the right path. Will it be next year? No, but can it be a project over the last 2 years? I'll give them. I think so. They can get on the right track. There's a good chance they can switch it next year, but at the end of the day, don't matter what you switch up. Look at the division they in. Mr. Baby Goats in that division, y'all. Y'all ain't got no chance. And real quick, I just want to switch lanes for 1 second. One little prediction spot I wanted to throw out there real quick, guys. I want to get everyone's prediction right now. Since Mahomes has one of the best starting careers ever, one of Tom Brady, obviously another. How many Super Bowls do y'all predict he's going to win right now? Go ahead, Kevin. How many Super Bowls you got in Patrick Mahomes' future? You think? And if you say none, I guess you can stay on that. We'll see how that quote on the bottom of the bar too in a couple years.
So Jaevon, for our audio only listeners, Jaevon put up a big one hand, and that's 5. So Jaevon says 5. Kevin, you're thinking about it hard.
Bro, I wouldn't be surprised if he got more than Tom.
Ooh.
Just based alone, because I don't know if you guys heard this stat. I was in the middle of tears. This is the only reason I heard it. The only 2 teams that had more rookies play more snaps than the Chiefs were the Texans and the Bears. So they have nothing but rookies. They have nothing but draft picks. So they're going to turn this into a factory. They have the draft picks from that Tyreek Hill, so they're only going to keep reloading. So that's the scary part about it. And they've proven this that they don't need a wide receiver 1. They don't need a top back. We mentioned Isaiah Pacheco. They can do it all, man. As long as they have 15 back there, they'll be fine.
See, go ahead, Shaun. What you think? How many you got? Let's see.
Well, our guy Marcellus said in the YouTube comments 8 to 9, so he's right there with Kevin. That could potentially be more than Tom. And so for me, Gary, what's Patrick Mahomes' jersey number?
Oh my goodness!
Oh no!
No!
I'm about to say, get the whiteboard out.
No. 1 + 5 is 6. Jordan had 6. I think he'll have 6.
See what you did there.
I call him Jordan. He got the 1 + 5. I think he gets 6. How about you, Gary?
That's a lot.
That's funny. Y'all probably
hard.
Y'all gonna be
Javon,
shocked.
you said 5.
But I'm just thinking about like the guys who. It's hard to win 2 Super Bowls.
Exactly,
alone, it's hard to win 2.
You are taking my point.
And for your team to have that many, you have great organization. So the GM has to be drafted, as Kevin already said. Gotta have a great coach. I think Andy Reid is one of the greatest coaches of all time. And you gotta have the quarterback. And I feel like the Chiefs have everything they need for a dynasty. So I mean, it's hard to win. Like Tom won 7, which is like the above standard. Like this is where I'm at, and everyone else is down here. So it's kind of just like, 4. Like there's only a handful of guys that won 4. Like Joe won 4, Bradshaw won 4. Like Aaron Rodgers, people were saying like he's one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. He only has 1 Super Bowl, and that was 10 years ago in a whole different era. Peyton Manning, he has 2.
13.
But Peyton Manning, he has 2, and he won 1 at the end of his career, and he got carried by his defense. So it's hard to win these Super Bowls, especially multiple. And Patrick Mahomes has a Hall of Fame career as it is already in his 2 Super Bowls, 2 Super Bowl MVPs, and 2 MVPs of the league. So I mean, man, he's only 27 years old. So that's the crazy part about it. He signed a 10-year deal. What was it, 2 years ago? So I mean, his deal's going to just keep rolling, and his deal is very team friendly. A lot of people don't realize that he's going to be like, I think, it's like the 10th highest paid quarterback in the league. If you look at it, I think Dak's making more than him. There's like, I think Russell Wilson's making more than him. There's a lot of quarterbacks who are very subpar compared to Patrick Mahomes that are making more than him. But Patrick Mahomes, knowing that he needs other guys to be able to put other guys around him, it's going to come down to him being able to put guys, the team being able to construct a team around him, and him just doing what he does, the Mahomes magic, because we all know he's going to end up being in the playoffs. He's just got to get there, and we're going to see him. Usually, to be honest, I don't even think Patrick Mahomes ever played a road playoff game. Like,
he hasn't.
He's never been on the road in the playoffs. So, I mean, that's how good this guy is.
So, Gary, answer your own question.
Okay, so I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I thought you guys were gonna go way lower. I was leaning 4, right? I was leaning 4, and I was like, okay, this is what I'm leaning for. I think Shaun said the opposite of me. He says that he's gonna do the Jordan. I think he's gonna do the LeBron. I think he's gonna go into
LeBron still got time.
Okay. No. LeBron. I want LeBron to get more.
You just do the Steph Curry. How about that?
No, that's true. You could do the Steph Curry, right? I was thinking more of the nature of Kev saying, like, I think he's gonna go to so many Super Bowls, but the pure fact that, like, or he's gonna get to a lot of AFC champions, let's say that, but the pure fact that we already talked about it. There's guys in line here, like the Bengals with Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, always play player. Back, keep going, Shaun, keep going. We already talked about how the AFC is so deep that, you know what, Shaun, like Tom, we're so ungrateful. Tom getting 7 is like Bill Russell's 11 now. Like, he put it so out. We talked about this like 2 weeks ago too, where I talked about how, like, he made the bar so high. When before you get 2, you get looked upon as great, wonderful. You get more than one. Yeah, you get one. Like, but Aaron Rodgers was expected to make many, and obviously Aaron Rodgers' situation and this situation is kind of different because of coaching and things of nature and being in Green Bay and being in KC and all that. But I just feel like I'm gonna say 5. I was leaning 4, but I'm gonna say 5 just because Tommy got 3 and they said first 5. Really, you got 3 in the first 13 because they had a lull there where he didn't get any, and they backdoored like obviously the rest, the 4. So I think that, like you guys all mentioned, how there's so many positives of how they could do it, of how, like, saving money, keeping cap space, all these things. They gambled away Tyreek Hill, and that worked wonders for them. They didn't go all in. Only teams that really went all in that won in this last 5-year span are teams that went all in, like the Rams did, and forgetting the other team that won before that. But yeah, those two, these teams that have been going all in are the ones, the teams that are winning. So the only team that's really planning for the future is the Chiefs. So I'm going to say 5. But man, guys, a lot of things have to go your way to even get 5. That's why I'm just like, it's tough to even say that. Like 5, 4, like Kevin said, I think 8, 7. I'm like, oh, whoa, way over here. Like, a lot of things got to bounce. Andy Reid, it's really old already. Is he going to coach this long? I know, like, they can keep it up with other players and things of that nature, health-wise. But I just feel like, I want him to get to that much, but I think he's going to be like LeBron, where he's going to have not as many championships as Jordan, just like Tom Brady, just like LeBron doesn't have a mic. He doesn't have enough as Tom Brady, but we're still going to call him the GOAT because what we've seen on the field.
Well, so after all that discussion of, is he going to be like Jordan? Is he going to be like LeBron? Is he going to be like Steph? He ultimately is going to be like Kobe, in Gary's opinion. He's going to get 5.
Or Magic. I'll say that too if you want to start counting.
Yeah. Or Magic. And so the thing is that, like, also just to talk about Tom Brady's greatness as well is like, and I know that this is going to sound bad, but it's no shade on LeBron, but like LeBron is 4-6 in 10 finals. Tom Brady was 7-3 in 10 Super Bowl appearances. 40% winning percentage versus 70% winning percentage. That's not, to me, Kevin, I know, I see the look on your face. I get it. I understand. I would probably be looking at me the same
Kevin
way.
Durant and Steph Curry.
But
basketball and football don't even compare.
We're doing too much comparison. I was talking about overall legacy. That's not going to the depths of this thing right here. This is 2 different sports.
My overall point is just, it shows Tom Brady's greatness that, like, he was able to win 70% of the big game. And it's a big.
I got a hot take or a hot question for y'all. They're gonna be cooking us on the net on this one, guys. In the comment section, probably like, bro, these youngins. All right, guys. Well, we're on TikTok a lot. That's where our numbers been going up. Shout out to everyone on TikTok. But I was just saying, the kids watching us. But exactly, shout out to Kev for putting the clips on TikTok. Shout out to Kev. But I was gonna say that. Is it Patrick Mahomes if he retires today? Where's he at? Is he top 2 ever? Is he top 2? I don't know. Like,
he's in the Hall of
top
Fame.
5. Top
He's
5.
Hall of Fame. That's the easy ball. He's Hall of Fame. We don't even got to worry about that. Top 5, Shaun? Where you
Top
putting
5.
him in the top 5 right now? Where is he at? Like, where's
I'm telling you top 5 because we got to move on, and I'm going to keep it at
Shaun, where you got him creep? Kev, where you got him creep him at? 2. See, I knew we were gonna. Someone was gonna say 2. Vaughn, what are you thinking?
Probably top 10, 5, like 6.
Okay.
Just because he hasn't played that. He's played 5 years, but his stats.
Marcellus, we on the same thinking, man.
His stats wouldn't be like if you put him compare his stats like next to a Drew Brees. Like Drew Brees has obviously more passing yards just because he's played longer. I think if Patty Mahomes plays as long as Drew Brees does, he'll end up probably having more passing yards and all those touchdowns, accolades, and stuff like that. But I mean, Super Bowl MVPs, he's got the accolades, man. So
Brady, Montana, Mahomes. I think I'm gonna put 3, Shaun. I think so. With the winning involved, it's really hard for me to say he's past Aaron Rodgers. I'm not gonna lie, like you could, but because it's sustained success. But no, sustained success. I'm gonna take this from Stephen A's book, where I need to see sustained success
for
him to really pass Peyton Manning, to really pass these guys who've been putting in for 20 years. So that's the only thing. But off clear resume, because to me, like I'll be more leaning on Vaughn's side, where like, all right, if he just stopped today, I wouldn't put him top 5. I don't care how many wins he won. He hasn't done it long enough. He hasn't been consistently great enough to be in that conversation.
5 years, he's been pretty great.
Put him on TikTok.
Come on, but all these other people are being great for 10.
He said he know what he's doing.
Shaun, what's his face? What am I saying bad? What are you disagreeing with, man?
I just don't get it.
What did I say? I said he's not. I said that, but off resume he could be top 3. But off pure the whole career so far, I need some more longevity. So I'll more but on side top 10.
The part that I didn't get is the fact that you said that you need to see more longevity to know that he is already better than Aaron Rodgers. Like, do you need to go on a 4-day darkness retreat to see what we already see? Because he's clearly better than Aaron Rodgers ever has.
Off what talent? He has more winning than him, but talent-wise, Aaron Rodgers was doing this before him. For 10 years, he was doing all this magic sidearm throw passes.
And losing.
He was in Green Bay. I ain't the biggest Aaron Rodgers fan, but we can all
lost to the Niners in the playoff. You can't say
okay, the last playoff was horrible, but before that, come on, y'all. He ain't never had no defense. We can go back to the whole stats of that. Every time they lost in the playoffs, this team, I think, scored 30+, and Vaughn's in the middle of the laughter right here. That's funny.
Oh, my God. Okay, so for our audio-only listeners, Jaevon was like mid-laugh, and it was just it would have been the perfect screenshot, and then now he just fell out, but yeah, that was perfect. Guys, we're coming up on 2 hours here, so we're going to keep it moving, and we're going to get to some NFL award winners. So, Patrick Mahomes is an MVP for the second time in his career as we add Jaevon back to our live stream. Jaevon, you're going to see later, you froze at like the most perfect time where you were mid-laugh, and it was just hilarious. And so anyways, the NFL awards, let's get to them. Patrick Mahomes wins his second MVP. Dak Prescott won the Walter Payton award. Sauce Gardner, Defensive Rookie of the Year. Garrett Wilson, Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Jets on the come up, baby.
Jets on the come up. Brian Dable, Coach of the Year. Justin Jefferson, Offensive Player of the Year. Nick Bosa, Defensive Player of the Year. And Comeback Player of the Year was Geno Smith. Those are the main awards. And so now let's just get to the notepad of half domino scores, half predictions. So let's see. For MVP, all of us had Mahomes, except for Jaevon, who said that he had Jalen Hurts. Was that after the injury? I think that was still after the injury, but I respect the faith in Jalen Hurts. We all had Justin. Okay, it was after. And so we all had Justin Jefferson and Nick Bosa as your respective offensive and defensive player of the year. All of us missed on Coach of the Year. So Kevin picked Nick Sirianni. The other three of us picked Kyle Shanahan, and also
the best fat guy since Biggie.
Exactly. Yeah, Brian Dable, he sure has turned around the career of Daniel Jones. And I also wanted to note that these are predictions that we made when we had our guy Manny Anderson on. And so Manny stepped in place of Gary for these predictions. I apologize, Gary. I don't have your predictions right in front of me. And then for
100%.
Yeah, sure you did.
Hey, my prediction. Hey, but I didn't even. Stats all politics. No, playoff prediction. Come on, kid. I don't even get my. I was waiting for Shaun to say only person that got this right before the season. Before the season, I said Chiefs winning the bowl. We went on the pod then. I got it in my notes. Ask my brother. I got the Chiefs winning the bowl. But it don't matter. Before the playoff started, who said they win the bowl? Come on now.
Hold on. Yeah, you did.
Bond. If the money's in the big in the table pushed in, come see my bet. I got you.
This the
I
same
got you in the
money
money
making.
making.
Gonna make the playoffs.
Hey, Kev, we were really close. What you talking about now? Come on now. You know what?
He's praying Lamar
Chiefs
gets traded in the offseason.
Yeah, so Gary had the Chiefs beating the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl. Congratulations,
Chiefs
Gary.
had Gary winning the Super Bowl. Just keep it like
Hey,
that. See,
hey,
Shaun be trying to
hey,
do a little
Kevin, Jaevon, let's give him a golf clap. Congratulations, Gary.
Thanks, guys.
You are the only stats over politics analyst. Kevin gave you the one clap. You are the only analyst here on Stats Over Politics to get your Super Bowl pick right. Congratulations, Gary.
You're welcome,
done.
guys. If you guys ever
And,
want any more tips and tricks, just come to me. You know, big moments, I prevail.
All right,
Tips
so
and tricks.
congratulations, Gary. So for Offensive Rookie of the Year, Manny had Kenneth Walker III, but the rest of us had Garrett Wilson. For Defensive Rookie of the Year, we all had Sauce Gardner. Manny had Tyreek Woolen from the Seahawks. And then for Comeback Player of the Year, we all had Geno, except Jaevon had Christian McCaffrey. So we all pretty much hit on our on most of our awards picks. But I just want to. Oh, hey. Yes, I'm sorry. Comments. I'm sorry, Wes. Wes is here. We appreciate you, Wes. We already killed Kevin, but
we
didn't
really kill you enough because Kev made it too hard to kill him, man.
Y'all thought he was coming here and go crazy.
He killed his own team, so we couldn't even kill you like that, Kev. You over made it too hard. You made it too easy. We couldn't even do that.
So I'm not a fan like Toddy. I'm like Shaun, man. I got to look at the whole perspective.
Hey, I appreciate that, Kevin. Thank you very much.
Toddy's all biased. Toddy's all biased.
Y'all see Vaughn looking fresh with the new haircut. Like you're getting it all fresh. He ain't trying to talk right now. He said,
I got a haircut too, man.
We won't talk about the Niners next year.
Everyone got a haircut except for me.
Everyone got a haircut except for me. Hair to the cut.
I had to wear the hat today because I didn't get a haircut. But yeah, you know, Wes, we came in here, wanted to kill Kevin. He even showed up late. It was just coincidental that he had to work late today. But hey, I had to give Kevin his respect, Wes, because like I wanted to come in here and kill him. I thought he was going to talk about that holding call right away, but he didn't at all. And
we didn't even talk about it, which we don't need to talk about, bro, because everyone, come on now. He said it himself. That's the main thing, bro. If you say it yourself,
soon, Wes.
Yeah, the clip is coming soon. Maybe even a clip of my beautiful remix.
That's anyways back next year.
Yeah, probably not. What was your question, Jaevon?
I know. Just keep on moving. Just keep on moving on. Just keep on moving on. Just keep on moving on. This is gonna take the rest of the time here.
Make it again.
That sounds like a no to me. But let's keep it pushing.
I mean, I can expand on it if we want to.
They're gonna pick apart Kev. They're already picking your team apart.
No, it's good. We need some content for over the block.
He's gonna be gone next year. They try to take your offensive coordinator. They're gonna try and take your pass coordinator. I'm telling you, this is what we go through. You know, people, they come and they go. They want to come. They want to pick our staff apart. I'm just saying, you're gonna witness a lot of people are gonna leave. You're not gonna have the same team. I mean, Kelsey might retire. I mean, I'm just saying your team's not gonna be the same. So
was your defense that good, or was it the coaches? Because Robert Saleh is struggling.
Kev, you'll be just fine.
Good to coach all Pro Bowl players.
Y'all all suck. NFC's horrible. Y'all gonna make it. Y'all got a chance. Just like y'all Niners got a chance.
No, thank you, Gary. Okay, so now, guys, I didn't forget we still have Shaun's pop quiz coming up to end the show. But I know.
I get Toddy's question. He's gone.
Yeah. If Jaevon keeps fading out, then one of you guys are going to
do it right now. Give his question right now.
To be honest with you, we need to start doing like a ticker count on the bottom. How many times Vaughn leaves today? Like 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's like Shaun's wrestling shirt. It's like a WWE match, Shaun. Like when they go on the ground, 1, 2, he gets up, puts his arm up, elbow. He's still alive. He's still alive. What are you saying?
Jaevon, you were going to say that the over-under, we definitely have hit the over today, haven't we?
Probably.
Hey, man, we appreciate you being here. And so anyways, I mean, guys, did anyone want to talk about the NFL awards, or did we just want to move on to Shaun's pop quiz and get out of here? Go ahead, Kevin.
So, Offensive Player of the Year had 48 yards against the Eagles. Defensive Player of the Year had 0 sacks against the Eagles, and Coach of the Year lost 3 times. Keep it rolling.
Jaevon, Gary.
Oh, that was a good take,
That was
Kev.
like
that was
week 2,
a good one, bro. That was a good
I have to
one.
throw that in there.
Was that week
That was a
2?
good one. That was a good
When
one.
y'all played them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's Air Player?
Yeah.
Shaun, you want to tell me what Air Player is?
I think Air Player is the FedEx Air Award, like it's the Player of the Week award, and I think it was
Okay.
who won it the most.
I see Joe Burrow.
I think that's what it is. I honestly can't tell you, Gary. I could. That's my guess. I don't know for sure. That's why I only mentioned the notable awards.
They moved
hey,
Dak Prescott at the Super Bowl. I thought that was funny.
And also Jaevon, something that you mentioned, and we taught Kevin something new, that there is a assistant coach of the year award. D'Amico Ryan's winner of your assistant coach.
I thought he was lying.
It's okay, Kev. Kev, you want us to kill you? You said okay. We'll give you one. We'll say one more thing. Shaun Vaughn, what's the stat after you played at Niners? What happens? What happened? We didn't bring it alive.
You're
I'm sorry, Kev.
The stat lives on, baby.
Hey, I got another one.
Yeah.
When's the last time we saw the Niners win a Super Bowl?
Woo. That's a bullet. I thought it was gonna be a
crickets. Are you guys there? Are you guys there? Over and out. Do you guys hear me?
See you next year at the link.
So no answer. Going once.
See you next year at the link.
Going twice.
So Gary, to answer your original question, teams to have played the 49ers during the 2022 NFL season went 0-19 the following week after playing the 49ers. The 49ers were not undefeated this season, but for teams playing the next week, they could not win after playing the 49ers because, you got to gear up.
It's okay, Kev. You got something they don't got. You got that shirt, man. You got that
and a quarterback.
True.
Oh
Something you don't.
I'm over here saying quiet. I know the
Mr.
comments.
Piss
What's his name was roasting me. He's like, I know you're gonna say that. I was just about to say that. I was like, I'm over here talking a lot while you're with a Steelers shirt on.
Yeah,
I still love my team, man. 2023, here we come. Defensive player
taking that
right
bet
now.
again next year with the
TJ
Jags,
Watt.
bro.
You can bet all you want, man. Go ahead. You're down.
Hey, so Kevin, I hope you enjoy that conference champion shirt because yesterday I was wearing my conference champion shirt from the year that the Chiefs beat us in the Super Bowl. And that was in 2019.
Yeah,
2020.
You still, man, you need to throw that shit away.
Okay. Well, that was the last time that we were NFC champions. And so apparently when every other team other than the Eagles wins a conference championship, it's irrelevant. But if the Eagles win a conference championship, it's the best thing ever.
I'm saying this is fresh. This is from 2 weeks ago. This is fresh off the press. You talking about when we was in college?
What else is fresh? What else is there? What else is fresh? That L that you guys just took yesterday. Yeah,
you hopped in that one. Yeah, you walked into that one. You walked into that one,
man. Don't worry. The frame is on the way. So when I'm facing this way, all you're gonna see is the 2 jerseys with the patches hanging up right there.
We'll see that link next year.
Wait, did you already buy the jersey with the patch on it like pregame?
I did that at the third quarter of y'all game when we played y'all.
Okay. That's what I thought because I was thinking to myself, I was like, why would you want a jersey with a losing Super Bowl patch? Because I legitimately almost bought a Richard Sherman jersey with the Super Bowl patch, but then they lost, and I was like, fuck that, out of here.
Are you serious?
Yeah, bro.
It's because they lost?
Well, when your team is 5-2 in the Super Bowl, other than a team that's 1-3 in the Super Bowl, you don't give a fuck about the Super Bowls that you lose in because you got enough that you wanted. 1, 2, 3, 4.
So you don't give a fuck about no Super Bowls because you ain't seen no.
I know you're gonna say that. Damn. Hey man, my team's sitting with 6, man. I'm sitting with 6, man.
Y'all fans of when they used to play in black and white TV. It's color now.
Hey, we got 2 when I seen them. It's all good.
Gary, don't nobody care.
I know. Hey, let me live in peace. All right.
All right, guys.
Kenny Pickett, Pickett to Pickens. All right, that's my last thing, y'all.
It's time. It's time to get NFL Award Super Bowl. John's Pop Quiz. I appreciate you, Kevin and Jaevon. They dig the background music. So, anyways, let's kick things off. Well, do we have any volunteers to go first? I mean, I don't want anyone to think that I'm picking on anyone.
Kevin's going first because they lost.
All right.
So why don't you go first? Y'all lost a while ago. We lost last, so I should.
Hey,
go
I'll go
last.
first then.
You fresh.
I was gonna do
All
it
right.
to you, Gary.
Gary can go first because if we're gonna go in order of our
appreciate
teams
you,
being
kid. It's always
eliminated,
love, man.
Gary's first. Hey, well,
all
if we're
good.
gonna
I'll go
go in
first.
order, we're gonna go in order of our teams getting eliminated. So, Gary, you're gonna be first. So this is a Super Bowl question. So Patrick Mahomes is the first player to win NFL MVP and a Super Bowl in the same season since 1999. He is the 8th player of all time to win a MVP and a Super Bowl MVP in the same season, but he is the first since 1999. Who was the last player to do it?
In 1999,
Yes.
right? Man, I seen
Yes.
this stat yesterday. It was all over TV. I know it's not Terry Bradshaw, obviously, but he was in one of those stats, to one of those great stats, and I was really having a proud moment. But 1999, the year my brother was born, when I was just 1 year old, I have no clue, bro.
I'm ready for
right
it.
now.
I'm
You
not- my hand
have
was up first.
hold on. I saw Kevin. I acknowledge you. You were first, but Gary,
Is it Big
you
Ben?
don't-
Nope.
No, Big Ben. No.
Next.
Okay,
Big Ben.
well, that was your guess, and it is wrong. So, Kevin, who was the last person to win regular season MVP and Super Bowl MVP in the same season back in 1999?
Kurt Warner.
All right, there you go. Ding, ding, ding. Kevin gets a point.
And I literally just watched him on TV show today. Great.
Kevin's at 7 now.
Yeah, Kevin is at 7 now. So, Kevin is currently at 7, Jaevon is at 6, and Gary is at 4. So now,
multiple
Jaevon,
Meeks missed. Don't forget that in there.
And a bonus point because Shaun felt bad.
No, I got that right.
All right,
I got it right. I got it right. All right, let's move on.
Gary, regardless, you were in
I'll
last
go.
place. And
I ain't gonna say
we-
excuses.
Hey, we appreciate you, Gary, because Kevin didn't make excuses. All right,
True.
so now let's keep it moving. Jaevon, since your team got eliminated next, we'll go with you. So there are 4 quarterbacks who have more than 3 double-digit comebacks in the playoffs since starting QB's stats were recorded back in 1950. So one of those quarterbacks to have more than 3 double-digit comebacks in the playoffs is Tom Brady with 6. Big surprise. Patrick Mahomes is next on the list with 4. There are 2 quarterbacks to have 3 double-digit comebacks in the playoffs all time. Who are one of those 2 quarterbacks? So I'll repeat this one more time. Tom Brady has 6 double-digit comebacks in the playoffs. Patrick Mahomes has 4. There are 2 other quarterbacks with 3 each. Name one of those 2 quarterbacks, Jaevon. And I'll give you 15 seconds because it's a tough one.
I got one. I got it after. I think I got
All
it.
right, well, Gary, if he doesn't get it, you can steal.
Peyton Manning, I'll say for one, and then I'll say
You only have to
do
name
one
one.
right.
You only
Yeah.
have to name one. Only often.
But if I name 2 and one of them's right, then there you go.
The first one you said
Uh,
wasn't right, so next.
No,
Aaron
you can't get me
Rodgers?
stabs at it now.
Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning.
No.
Oh,
Okay, so both of those answers are incorrect. Gary,
Damn it.
you said that you had one. So what is your one?
I think I got one. Dan Marino.
Okay, who is it? That is
I said Dan
wrong.
Marino.
Kevin, do you have a guess?
I'm
Big
gonna
Fish.
take a shot in the dark, and I'm gonna say
Oh.
Drew Brees.
That is also
about to say, I
incorrect.
don't
Both,
Joe Montana. Brett Favre. Boom. I got one of them. I for sure have to.
no, both of those were wrong as well.
I'm naming all the great
He's gonna
quarterbacks.
be someone we
So-
don't even know.
Okay, so
I know.
both of these quarterbacks
Joe
who have
Flacco.
both of these quarterbacks who have 3 double-digit comebacks in the
Poor Shaun.
playoffs have played for the Broncos in their career.
Wow. Elway?
Oh,
Tim
yeah.
Tebow.
John Elway was one of
Elway.
them. Tim Tebow didn't play in enough
I'll
playoff
say
games.
he didn't play.
He
in that.
played him like 2.
So John
And then-
Elway is one.
Russell
And
Wilson.
Cutler.
Gary, you got the other one. Russell Wilson when he
I'd
was
say
a member
Jay
of the
Cutler.
Seattle Seahawks. So with the most double-digit comebacks in playoff history, you have Tom Brady at 6, Mahomes at 4, Russell Wilson and John Elway both at 3. So
I got
there
one
you
right
go.
out of everyone here. Half point.
No, you did.
Half point.
No. All right.
Hey,
well,
y'all didn't say nothing. We was getting a lot of beeps on y'all side.
Isn't it Kev's turn now?
yes, it
Time
is
to get
Kev's
another
turn.
point.
Yeah, it is
8 for
Kevin's-
Kobe.
It is Kevin's turn. Kevin currently leads with 7. Jaevon has 6. Gary has 4. So, Kevin, this is now shifting to the NFL awards. Okay, so not a Super Bowl question. This is an NFL award question. So there have been previously 2 NFL teams with both the offensive and defensive rookie of the year. As we saw, the Jets, they won offensive and defensive rookie of the year with Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner. There are 2 other NFL teams in history to have both the offensive and defensive rookie of the years on the same team. 2 other teams other than the 2022 Jets in NFL history. So Jaevon, I see you. If Kevin doesn't get this, I will throw it to you for the steal. Kevin, you have 15 seconds. Name one of the 2 teams to have both the offensive and defensive rookie of the year in the same year. You have 10 more seconds, Kevin. Jaevon,
Let's go with
the Lions.
You're not gonna give me a chance to speak?
It's the Lions.
I cannot confirm or deny. Kevin, what's your guess?
The Lions.
Did he just play you? Did he just throw you a little like a misdirection, or did he actually give you the answer?
It's not the
Kevin?
Lions. I want to go with the Saints. That was my
Kevin,
guess.
your
Kevin,
final answer? Kevin, your final answer is what?
I don't know if he's lying. Try to fuck me up. I'm gonna go
You
with
know
those
if Vaughn's
Saints.
lying or not.
In 2018, the New Orleans Saints had
Bro,
the offensive rookie of the year
That's
and the defensive rookie of the year.
crazy, bro.
So in
I'm-
2018,
that is insane.
Alvin
Wait, hold on.
Kamara.
Hey,
Wait,
you
wait,
did
Lattimore.
say the
I need
Lions.
players,
You
Brian.
did say
I
the
need
Lions
the
like
players
twice
for
with
this.
conviction. I ain't gonna lie. Until we all got quiet, and then he said,
Just-
"Oh no."
I
Gary,
can see who
Gary,
the
wait.
players were for
Gary, wait.
double
Jaevon,
bonus.
wait. So in 2018, the New Orleans Saints had the offensive rookie of the year in running back Alvin Kamara, and they had the defensive rookie of the year in cornerback Marshawn Lattimore from the Ohio State University. Jaevon,
Oh, that's why he
You-
knows.
Jaevon was not throwing Kevin for a loop. The other team in NFL history to do it with the Saints and the Jets was the Lions. Back in 1967, Mel Farr and Lem Barney for the 1967 Detroit Lions. So, Jaevon, if you did not answer in front of Kevin, you might have had a shot there. But Kevin,
I
props
never
to you.
lost.
Kevin kind of got both answers right, but it's going to count as 1 point. So now Kevin moves up the leaderboard. Kevin is at 8, Jaevon is at 6, and Gary is at 4 after 15 episodes. So that is going to do it for
And Gary has
Shaun's.
the most predictions right overall in sports takes. So what y'all.
Gary just got to stroke his own eagle a little bit.
I just
Gary,
I'm butthurt. I'm at last. I'm not gonna. I'm butthurt. I got to make a comeback now. I got to do some research or something.
you gotta study up. All right, so real quickly, because Kevin, I want to thank you as well, because I gave Jaevon his flowers at the beginning of the show. Thank you for the bonus episode that you guys did on Friday night covering the NBA trade deadline. But I'll give up my time to Gary. I just want to give Gary a couple minutes here, just because I know he wanted to talk about KD real quick. So Gary, what were your thoughts on the KD trade and just the entire NBA trade deadline in 2 minutes or less?
I'm flipping it on Shaun. We'll keep this as a teaser for later on. Go ahead. Don't worry. But we'll end the show here. Great show we had today. Keep tuning in to Stats Over Politics. Tune in next week, Monday at 7 p.m. Tell your friends, your family, your granny, your auntie, tell everyone and their mamas. Go ahead, re-like, repost, show love. Appreciate y'all. Real support, real. Shout out to the fans. Appreciate y'all.
We worldwide like the
Peace.
pandemic, baby.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Jaevon, any closing thoughts, my guy?
Debo and Ayuk were right.
At home. What country are they in? Cancun?
All right,
They just
enough
said
said.
with y'all.
That's
You
going to
got
do
it.
it
Y'all
for
been there.
episode number 15 of Stats
Fly,
Over
Eagles, fly.
Politics, like Gary said. Cry, Eagles, cry. Oh, wait.
Fly, Eagles, fly. Okay, I'm gonna end the broadcast.
Cry, Eagles, cry. On the path to
Hey.
misery.
We got the number one
Cry,
producer,
Eagles,
Shaun.
cry. For a touchdown, 1, 2, 3. Actually, fumble.
We got-
Hit them in their thighs, hit them in their toes, and watch those Eagles cry.
Shaun
Cry,
wanted to take a stab
Eagles,
at it.
cry. On the path to misery. CHIEFS Chiefs. Goodbye, everyone. Have a great week.
Bye, everyone.
We're going to keep getting